Hello and welcome to Star Wars News and Weekly Comic Recap presented by Tales from the Dark Side. Hey, this week Marco's covering the new comic releases, Dr. Aphra number 12 and War of the Bounty Hunters number 2. Two comics that give us different perspectives of the underworld's most talked about event. We love a good auction and this one is king. Also, we may get some comments on the fashion stylings of the galaxy's most notorious crime lords. You never know. Tonight, a few of the crew give us their own individual character profiles of the bounty hunters they want to see live. But Marco gave us strict rules, so your favorite bounty hunter might not have made the list. Loose lips sink ships, and Hasbro's Bartle or James, I don't really know who's who, torpedoed what seemed like a top secret release. Live streaming is unforgiving, funny too. Star Wars Visions is on the horizon, and there's no one better to talk visions than our own Slajee Jasif. Don't know who Slajee Jasif is? Google it. I did. I don't make these things up, mostly. JJ's got visions. The Bad Batch is back this week with episode 12, Rescue on Ryloth. And if we don't get a Hera Omega spinoff or something, then what the hell are we doing this for? Let's get it going, fellas.
Forces of Destiny, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. I just thought about that. That's what got me hooked up. Maybe they'll have a new Forces of Destiny. Jedi, great intro again. We're going to get to the regular intros. I will say the rules with Bounty Hunters. We're going to now, over the next month, we're going to choose live action Bounty Hunters, do a little profile on each one. Ones that we kind of want to see that we know aren't already cast or something like that to be in the Book of Fett. It's kind of just, I don't know, fun because that's what we like to do. Anyways, Jedi, could you take us the rest of the way through it and introduce everybody that's here?
You got it. He's a comic book crosshair, able to shoot down fake spec at a quarter mile. A wanted man throughout the hobby, but for all good reasons. Give it up for Macho Man Marco. Hey, what did Han say after Chewbacca's piano recital? No?
What?
He said, that was a great solo, Wookiee. Okay, even
no
I
more
thought
dad
that
jokes.
was
We
bad.
canceled that. We canceled dad joke.
All right. Even I thought that was bad, but hey, this guy loves them. Give it up for our very own solo Wookiee.
That was awesome.
He's got the easiest job in the galaxy. A pollster for Palpatine's popularity. You either love him, you really love him, or you go stand in line to see Vader. It's the guy behind the curtain, JJ Maxwell.
See?
This guy collects Funko Pops like Doc Ondar collects Jedi antiquities. The rarer, the better. Dom, can't be a coincidence. Dom Tober is here tonight. Some Force-sensitive kids grew up playing in the shade of an Unneti tree. His mom, however, would spank him with the branches. You're feeling the Force now, aren't you? That's what she yelled. Yep, it's me, Jedi Johnson 22. Let's go, guys.
After that intro, I think it's over. I think the show's over. We've completed everything we wanted to. Good. Micro content, yo. What's up? No, those were great, Jedi. Thanks again. Unfortunately, Jedi's going to take a little break after this for the next couple weeks. We'll miss him, but whatever. Dom, I want to really thank you. It's always fun to have part of the Dark Side crew family come out here to help us out. Obviously, we got a little fun going on we got a little bit of fun for the Hasbro Lab stuff going on. We're going to do the comic reviews, then we're going to get into that. Then I think we actually got the whole rundown, but let's say hi to the people in the chat real quickly. So it'll be comic reviews, Visions, Hasbro Labs, Bounty Hunter, Bad Batch, and then it's Trap. All right. Hey, I can't start with who gave us our first thumbs up yet because I don't think we've hit the 2-minute mark. Oh, yes, we have. All right. Wet Dreams, like number 1. There you go. Hey, Lewis, how you doing, man? Good to see you. That guy says hi to everybody, especially JJ, and thinks that the dad jokes are still funny. Jedi, I mean, we're doing it for one person, I think, at this point. Always good to see Dark Lopez.
Let's sneak them in wherever we can.
I know. Ed, we always appreciate saying hi for the algorithm. All right. Let's get it on. Let's get into reviews. We're going to miss Pete. He's watching. Oh, pickups. Thank you.
We always
do
got pickups.
first. Let's do pickups first. I don't even know what I picked up. So it's gonna be on you guys.
All right.
All right, who wants to go first? There you go. Jedi's first. Since you mentioned it.
Okay. So I was only going to show one thing, but then since Dom is here, every time Dom comes on, I gotta try and impress him with some Funkos because he is the Godfather, the Grandmaster Funko himself. But first, I did pick this up. Hey.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
See, you should have started with wearing it. And
Can we see the inside?
This thing, there is no way this thing fits on my head. No way.
Can you see it? Can we see the inside? Can we see the inside?
Yep. Hang on.
Oh, how heavy is it?
It's heavier than the Boba Fett.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Oh yeah. It doesn't fit on your head though, huh?
Heck no.
Mm.
No, they need to make like a size 8 or something.
I always wanted a rig one with like a Bluetooth in it. I always thought that'd be cool.
This one does have a light on it or something. I don't know. Maybe it needs battery.
No, it has a light on the thing. Yeah.
Since Dom's here, I also got these. We'll just make it a Mando theme today.
Nice.
2 Mando Funkos. Yeah.
Which ones are they?
This one is the Funko Club Insider, glows in the dark.
Oh, nice.
And
that's a good one.
I don't know. And then this one is the Amazon exclusive.
How good of a one is that? How good of a one was the other one, Dom? Like price wise. Let's see how much Jedi spent.
Price wise? It's going for about like $25-$30 online.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
if you pick
But
it
it's
up,
hard to find.
There's usually a starting point when it comes to the Funko Pops. They drop $30, $40, like the
Don warned me not to go down the rabbit hole of Funkos. Somebody might need to like grab my ankle or something.
you're in trouble.
Oh no, too late.
Chad, good to see you, and also Dusty, good to see you too. I wonder if you got anything else for pickups there, Jedi? No, it is. He's already on mute. All right, JJ, I know you've been excited. You've been yelling at me.
All right, the first one, real quick. This is a Solo #1 or Solo Star Wars Story #1. This is the Walmart version with the yellow up there. So, little quickie. Was able to find one cheap. Pete got one of these too. We both got them from the same place, but this is the 1 in 50 War of the Bounty Hunters #2.
Yep, nice.
Is it Chiquetto? I don't know how to say the poor guy's name, but Chiquetto.
That was one of those ones that we weren't FOMOing, was it, JJ?
No. I thought that was pretty easy.
We'll talk a little bit about JJ's FOMO later.
Yeah, that's next week. I always pick these up when I see them cheap. I got this one real cheap, $2.
Oh, nice.
The story thus far variant. I always like these. I don't know why they quit doing them, but they were always good ideas. This is another pretty inexpensive pickup, just a couple bucks, but it's the little hard to see my reflection.
San Diego Comic-Con, yeah.
Yeah, version of Dark Times.
The yellow. Nice.
Yeah, it really pops. It's kind of like a faded yellow. It's a cool looking cover. This was $1 or so pickup. It's a nice Dark Talon cover.
That is.
Legacy War.
Dark Talon's always got nice covers.
And this guy I got so shockingly cheap. It's in pretty beat up shape. Oh, nice. I call it 98% complete. There's a little chip out of the side. Out there. Star Wars Weekly #1. I'll take it.
Press and clean that out real quickly. Yeah,
it'll press out. No problem.
Yeah,
it'll press out. Yeah, totally.
Hey, Lopez, thank you very much. Correction. He says, correction, Marco. I cried when I saw Ahsoka, but I sobbed when I saw Luke. Come on, Lopez. Thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate it. All right.
Did that one more before you get off me. But I had a pop pickup too. So this is the Chalice Collectibles Darth Maul.
See,
with the dark saber.
I don't think you were here. I don't think you were here.
It's contagious.
I don't know.
It's contagious, man. Even Marco's gonna be showing.
Oh, look, I got Omega. That's it. Omega. That's the only one I picked up. Mookie, what do you got? Mookie, do you got anything?
I got just some old ones I picked up, some 5th prints and 4th prints. And
nice.
Dead.
Yeah, all right. Dead hot cover, and that's about it.
A lot of like dead people and people hanging upside down on the High Republic cover.
I did pick up an old Vader 7.
Cool.
Yeah, I only have like 4 copies. So,
Dom, you got anything to show or no?
Yeah, I do. I have a couple things real quick.
Go ahead.
I showed this. I got this.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Who drew that?
Is that really
nice?
That's the artist, the Turkish artist, what's his name? Gortman Demir. I'm saying it wrong. I'm botching his name.
Don't worry about it.
But
This is the show.
really
This is
nice
what to do that on.
Yeah,
I chatted with him a lot on Instagram. Really nice guy.
That's
Got
cool.
this.
Nice.
Actually,
love his
I got a couple
artwork.
of pops myself too. So I got Omega.
Really?
It finally came
Hey,
today.
Amiga.
Omega. I got the Pride Stormtrooper.
Oh, nice.
oh,
That's pretty
that's
cool.
cool. Where the hell's that from?
And actually, I have something very special. I got a pack that I got yesterday. I didn't open it. It's actually a Fett, and I just want to show it for the first time.
Hey, there we go.
So,
Fat bump.
There we go.
Unboxing.
Fingerprint resistant.
There you go.
Give it the bubble bump.
Packed by
Well,
Todd.
it's actually a custom. It's actually a custom.
Oh,
So-
is it?
Ooh.
It's a custom. So apparently they made
wow.
like
Ooh.
the prototype with the missile.
Oh,
He's holding the
that's
missile,
cool.
and they make that.
Nice.
Yeah. That's
So
dope.
custom. I found it on eBay and I picked it up.
That's
so
cool.
Cool.
It's not bad.
So
It
they-
wasn't even
yeah,
like,
no,
like $30.
no,
Yeah,
not bad.
sweet,
So
man.
happy
Cool.
with that.
Hey,
And
hey, Wookie, man,
A
he
couple
smoked
keychains.
your time opening boxes. I just
Cool.
want Wookie to know that.
Yeah, okay. That's how you open it. That's how you open a box.
you got-
That's cool.
When you don't get big boxes or that many of them very often, you got to savor it.
the one last, real quick, I got the slave one.
Ooh,
Oh.
the vintage.
I had to.
Yeah.
No,
There you
that's
go.
that's
I had to.
not the original, is it? Isn't that the
It's not. It's the,
That's
the
the
newest
third
one that
one.
was
third?
made.
Third?
That's the
It's
third
the
one.
newest
Yeah.
one. The third
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
third
yeah.
one.
Man, that thing's
I got to
sweet.
pick up.
Great
That's cool.
detail on
Good
that
job.
one.
Yeah, you got to pick it up. That's good. Yeah. I mean, I'll let my kids play with my slave.
Yeah, yeah. I love that third gen, man. So detailed. So
That's-
Anyways, where's the Pride one out of? Was that custom too, or is that something they did?
No, the Pride. It's actually it came out. It was a common that came out for Pride. So
Oh,
they
so you
had
can get
this
anywhere.
and they had a BB-8 that was actually a Funko Shop exclusive that came out.
Hmm.
It was Pride, so they had two Pride pops. I got the
Cool.
BB-8 over there somewhere.
All right, awesome. Nice pickups, everybody. Let's get into the review. God, I can't wait to get to Hasbro. HasLabs.
you don't have any
Oh.
pickups, Marco?
No, man. I mean, I
Just
do, but
Omega.
I just have I have to go dig them out. I keep forgetting about pickups all the time. Hey, look, our man's back and he paid off. Bartles got us good this week. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But before we do, let's get into reviews. Okay, this week, what I did with reviews, because there was so much, I know we've been complaining about Afra lately, but honestly, Afra was the better of the two books. There was a lot of overlay between them. So I kind of split it up. It's probably terrible how I did this, but we'll see how it works out. Okay. So we had the main title, War of Bounty Hunters, and we had Dr. Afra. War of Bounty Hunters came with a bunch of covers. The boba looked really good. Did you guys get that boba?
I did.
The green was nice.
Yep.
They did a great job on it. It was, as advertised, really good. It also had, I don't know why you guys hate this trading card variant. I actually liked it.
I don't hate it. It's just Dingar.
Oh, now it's Dengar. Now when I mess it up, it's Dengar. It's Dengar. Okay.
Whatever.
How can you guys hate on Dengar the way you
Oh, he's
do?
terrible. He's a
I have
terrible
never
character.
liked Dengar, aside from his attitude and his personality. He just looks like he just got in a car accident. He
Yeah,
just looks,
he's something bad.
he's never not attractive.
I will say this: War of the Bounty. The do not get FOMO on that one. What was it? 1 in 25 or 150?
50. The 1 in
50,
25 is the Dingar.
Yeah, Dengar. I think both are selling for well under ratio and are easy to find for well under ratio. So
Yeah.
I know you guys bomb early, but don't get that. So we're gonna start off with the main bounty hunter title. We get a little bit of a little bit Crimson Dawn starting off. How's everybody doing? They get to show this artwork where you get to see all the different. This reminded me a lot of the Cad Bane book with the auction. They did a lot of that. They broke down a lot of the same clans too that went through there. You get the Pikes. The Empire shows up. The interesting part, and this is where I still think that between Buku, we're going to have a Buku succession here, because if you saw this and read it, Buku and Jabba were going at Buku's Mr. 8-pack rip big arm guy. He's the hut that's like that. Him and Jabba really were having it out for each other. So he's either going to die in one of these comics or he's going to show up in the Book of Fett, in my opinion. Either way, the story then gets over to Bubbo and Boba lands in Slave 1. That was pretty cool. he sees people. Obviously, he's going to kill them and take their clothes because he has to get in. In the meantime, Bosk, I actually thought reading this, it was like quick how Bosk like shot him. I really like the play on this. And then the best part, he blows off Bosk's legs. And I forgot this, but they can regrow.
They could grow back, yeah.
Yeah, they can grow back. So he does that, and he hangs them up, and he goes, "I'm just gonna leave you." So he ends up putting him on a rock, but says like, "I'm gonna leave you as example to tell everybody a message." And he says, "What's the message?" It's don't come after me, which is kind of cool. I'm switching over to Afra now because this is where the Afra storyline picks up without breaking into it. So Afra and Sanson are looking around. I didn't do the second half where they talk about her brother because it was kind of irrelevant to it. She ends up seeing the Empire hand and says like, "Oh crap, that means the apprentice is here." She has a little flashback of Vader. She does this little thing where she was trying these necklaces might have something to do later on because all the jewels store data.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So that was pretty cool. So she ended up putting something on the back of it, made the lady go run off, and then you see this cloaked figure grabs it. She says something to the effect of, "I know your voice, you sound like a clone." At this point, did anybody else think this was just like maybe Rex? Like a clone that I thought
it was Boba.
It is Boba.
I mean, that's who my mind leapt to at first, just because I knew he was going there. Because I read him in the exact order we had it here, which was him getting into the auction, and then this book right here. So I assumed it was him. But
I didn't. I read it opposite way.
Didn't the cover kind of give it away along with the colors of his robe? I don't know.
It did, but I didn't read. Oh, that's smart. The covers of the robe.
Yeah,
well, it's the same robe of those characters that I showed earlier. Back, if we go back, the thing with it was I read this book first, so when she said it, I was like, man, because I know something else I was going to show up in here from the prelude that they're going to run into Leia and stuff like that. So I thought maybe that the rebels had sent somebody into it, but that was just me. I'm not usually good at figuring stuff out that's why I read the whole thing.
Would have been cooler if it was somebody else.
Yeah. So I thought it was going to be Rex. Either way, they get up to a point where they go, okay, it's time to auction off Captain Solo. You can kill him. You can do whatever you want with them. Blah, 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 blah. So then we switch back to the War of the Bounty Hunters where you kind of start to see the face and the bidding goes crazy. He says, this character says, just be ready, and leaves them. In the meantime, you got the Pikes auctioning off. And then here we go. Jabba and Boku, whatever, start going back and forth. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. They're going after it. The Empire has got Umbre there. And Umbre's like, we're the Empire. We're going to win this till Jabba just goes, yeah, fuck it. My pockets are bigger than everybody else. Here we go. 200,000 credits. And it was over. In the meantime, we get to see Boba running into Leia.
Was I the only one that was unclear on why Buku wanted Solo so bad?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. So if we go back to these pages, he was trying to do a power play.
Just to
show up
Jabba
here. To show up Jabba, yeah.
Okay.
Like right here when he was like, Jabba, we're leaving. This is ridiculous. We don't care. And Jabba's like, no, we're all going to stay.
Well, he felt slighted that they actually had to come there instead of the Crimson Dawn coming to them.
Do you think that's what it was?
That's a strange way to bid it up, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It was kind of a thump to the eye of Jabba because Jabba disagreed with him. It's like, no, I guess Jabba wasn't as insulted as Buku about having to actually come to Crimson Dawn instead of Crimson Dawn coming to them as an exclusive buyer. So I think he was just pissed at Jabba and was just kind of having a little tantrum.
Hey, Ruben, glad you can make it.
Because, I mean, Jabba already paid for him. Like, he already paid or hired Boba to bring Han to him. Like, that was the arrangement. Like, if I was Jabba, I'd be livid mad. I think that I already hired someone to deliver this to my door.
See, I think that all plays into what Buku. I see it as Buku is trying to take a power play because then if they're not there, they can't get Han back, and then he can use it as like, hey, you had this bounty hunter, you already paid him, you lost money on that, then they auctioned it off to somebody else. That's how I saw it. And then when Jabba said we're not going anyplace, and everybody listened, then he's kind of like crap because he had everybody on their side when he was arguing like we're offended, we should go, we're the Hutts, blah blah blah, we're big and bad, and Jabba's like, yeah, it's not that important. Why don't you just calm down? And like everybody was riled up, and then because you could see him, and then when Jabba said calm down, and everybody calmed down, he was like, crap, dude, because you could see he keeps throwing slights at Jabba all the time. He really does want to usurp him. So I mean, not that that's, I mean, everybody has, like, Rotu did too, and everybody like that. I mean, that's part of the Hutt clan, I think. But either way, so that's how I got out of it. But I could be wrong. Comics are hard sometimes. Too many pictures, not enough words. Enough words, not enough pictures. Who knows? Yeah. Either way, so Jabba ends up winning it. And then she goes, okay, Jabba the Hutt won. They end up running into each other. I don't even know why they put that in there. They really need to get that main Star Wars story needs to end because this doesn't even make any sense. Like, why do they care? And then later on in the storyline, what actually happened in the movie, it kind of sucks because of that. But then in both, you get a panel with Darth Vader. This is what I'll say here. Look at how symmetrical the art is to one another. Look at how close they look to each other, right? All right. You can do that, but you can't get Dr. Aphra to look anywhere like each other, not anywhere close to each other in any of the covers. I don't understand it. I mean, sure, it's a little longer in the face and everything, but the gist of it is most of the characters are highly identifiable, which isn't the case on some of the covers. So then she has this flashback of Vader and her being choked. She drops it. She says, run, run, run. And all of a sudden he keys in on her. So it might be interesting. I mean, this is all out of Aphra. Like I said, I almost gave up on it.
Not make a scene there and be super covert, Aphra.
Yeah, well, I think she was saying it in her head was run, and then he picked up on it. But yeah,
falling to your knees in like the middle of this big crowd. It's like, Vader.
That was a full-on panic anxiety attack.
Doesn't take Jedi senses to she's there.
Well, I think everybody's paying attention to Vader saying, because Vader came in and was like, "Hey, Captain Solo." This is something also I don't understand this part of the book. So if somebody could explain it to me, as much as I might.
She
understand.
also drops. I don't know if that's a thermal detonator or what the hell she had in her hand.
No, that was
drops it.
Yeah, that was the thing that was tracking the lady in the bathroom with all the jewels that had the thing. But this is what I don't understand about this panel right here. He says Captain Solo's mine, it belongs to him, but like that's not the case. He gave him to Boba.
Right?
I don't understand this at all. I don't.
Well, in the Vader book that a couple of months ago, they had the story that he went after Solo. When Solo landed back with all the Millennium Falcons that were in the scrub, when Vader went after him, after Vader went down to the Emperor again, when his new mission, when they rebuild him again to go after Solo. So that, but he said to myself, why have that part? Why even go after me? He had him. He didn't have to give him the Boba Fett. But they added.
Is it just to one up the? Is it to one up the Umbrarian or whatever? Is that the only reason he's there?
That might be because I think they're going to get into a fight in the next book. I mean, I think that might be.
Hey, can we talk about that guy? Is he a descendant of the twins from High Republic?
No, he's not.
Sure
no.
Different species. No.
Yep.
We're talking about the bald dude with that
yes.
yes.
It's a she actually.
It's actually not. Yeah, it's that one right there. Yeah,
sorry.
It's a she.
That's
all right.
I'm just saying that's.
They're all aliens, anyways. I mean, who knows what it could be a she that.
Unlike the nearly identical twins in the High Republic, it's a she.
Yeah.
How dare you confuse it?
Yeah. Anyways, so surprisingly, look, I give Sprouse a lot of hard times about some of these 50th, but this 50th was I thought was great, man.
I wish they didn't ruin it with all the 50th tagging and everything.
I would agree. I agree with that. But in the most part,
cool. It's pretty cool to a point where it foreshadows Boba taking the throne. He's on the phone with Jabba. So
that is cool. Yeah,
if you think about it, it's pretty cool.
But,
I like it.
Once again, you could get Vader right, but then you could do this with Dr. Aphra. So good luck with that. I don't understand it, man. Next week, we got a book that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. It's the Jabba the Hutt one-shot tie-in. This is part of the FOMO we were talking about. So this is something I guess we can talk about. But JJ right now is having FOMO because we usually say, don't worry about getting the one.
I was until I screwed up that eBay buy earlier. And I forgot all about it. So that was my real FOMO.
So we're from what we're hearing, the 1 in 50 is going to be plentiful out in the market. I mean, plentiful out in the market.
1 in 25 actually, it's not even 1 in 50.
Or 125, yeah. Mm-hmm. The problem is right now the pre-sales are kind of. I think somebody's trying to drive up the pre-sales on it, so the price is kind of spiked a little bit. Yeah,
everybody has it high. I can't find a cheap copy.
Well, we'll see what happens after
once the floodgates hit, maybe.
Yeah, because the flood I think is going to come.
The lowest I saw it was like $60.
How much?
That's the lowest I saw it.
60?
Yeah. 60,
yeah. Like double ratio.
Yeah.
Well, we talked JJ into not falling into FOMO, so we will see if we were. I mean, we were right on the last one. We'll see if we were right on this one. I have a feeling like everybody knew this was coming, and everybody ordered it, and everybody's trying to get top dollar right now. But there's a lot of copies out there already that haven't sold.
No store variants. I don't know. I haven't seen a single one. I don't know if Marvel put the kibosh on store variants for this issue or what.
No, I think people lost a lot of money on store variants, so they aren't doing them anymore.
Even though a new character and everything, I mean, you think people?
A lot of people who did store variants in Star Wars property lost lots of money. So
Yeah, I could
yep.
see that.
So I think that's where that came into play. Either way, this book, however, our favorite. So yeah, by the way, new character coming out. We know that already. They actually showed some of the panels.
Yep.
I should have got it. It doesn't. What do you guys think about the panels with the?
They weren't
the preview.
Good art. I don't know about the story.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was that exciting. So we'll see what happens with this character.
She's much more regal than I thought. Like her made her out to be. Like,
yeah,
she's all like queen of the bounty hunters, but here she looks like Gwen Stefani meets a Star Wars character or something. I don't know.
Right.
I love how they make the names. Her name is Diva Lampop. That's her name.
Yeah,
Diva Lampop. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've been wrong about characters sticking around before, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we know she's supposed to be in High Republic 2 or something because she came from that age, but whatever. This book, however, has got one of the crew's favorite characters coming into it. We kind of been saying that for a couple weeks, but they actually gave us the preview pages now. So we get too bad that he's not here. We actually get I want to know more about this Jedi Master, the dude up in the left. What's his name? I don't know. I got it on the page so that I could say it because Master Talu Buta. Because apparently he's fighting a Sith. This is pre-High Republic, like at the beginning, and it is like Planet of the Sith, where there's just tons of Sith all over. And this is kind of like one of the Sith minions, and they're watching this on a holo where he's pulling ships out of the air and he's one-handedly fighting everybody. I think that would be cool storyline. So I hope they go back to that, where it's I mean, like a lot of people always talk about, get away from the Skywalker saga and kind of get into some of the either mythology or go forward either way. But inside, as you can see, and if you were watching the IG, on the bottom picture in the left-hand corner, we get our man Geode, the Rock. I know, I keep saying Geode all the time. Geode the Rock. That's a side profile of him because you actually get 3 or 4 of them in there. We also get Matthew McConaughey. I mean, what is the captain guy's name again? We've been calling. Owen
Wilson. You guys can say Matthew McConaughey. I'm listening to this book right now, actually. And this
I can see Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. This is Zoolander. I don't know what the guy's model in Zoolander. That's him all the way.
All right. Either way,
Hansel.
We get them all. They're all coming. The whole group. Affy too is coming. So, and the story goes is he actually has to negotiate with the Hutt. So this might be kind of fun because apparently the Jedi Master's sleeping because he's a squid creature that somehow is hibernating. Probably the worst excuse to send one of these Padawan type, or they're not even, are they Padawans anymore? I can't remember. Either way.
Padawans, say something about Geode as someone who's, like I said, I'm in the middle of listening to this book right now because I'm trying to catch up to you guys with the other books. And I know you guys had talked about this character, and I know there was a lot of like making fun of him when the book was still released. So maybe I've kind of been eased into the character a little bit, but it's kind of fascinating listening to the book and when they talk about that character and how he doesn't really, he just kind of moves around, but no one ever.
You don't know how.
We don't know how. He doesn't ever talk about it moving around. He just kind of here and there and does this and that. And you just
right place at the right time, always.
It's actually kind of cool, actually.
I can't wait till you get to the end because you're gonna love it. But I looked through this book to see if he moved in any of the panels he was in, and he did not. That's why I mentioned this was a side profile. Also, so this is interesting. It says next week's books maybe. And this showed up in previews where it said that the FCBD is going to be delivered. I should have called somebody. I didn't have time this week though to see if they're getting into the delivery. But just make sure you double check your LCSs because they might have this next week, and you might be able to get to it early. You know how some LCSs are.
But this way, more than one online retailer I saw listed the date available for the books as the 21st.
Yep.
Why? I don't know, but yeah, it's this Wednesday.
So don't miss out. Just double check, guys. We're giving you the heads up here. I know you'd hate to miss it, so make sure you're there and try to get those if you can. And I assume that if this one, I didn't see any of the other ones. I did see this show up. I didn't see any other ones show up. I
saw the Viz one was listed a couple places as the 21st.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, this character in the back right, I'm reading that other book, The Race to the Towers. I'm really liking him more and more. I really am. I'm not gonna try to say his name. High Republic is on FOC, the red cover with the hut thing. We are going to get what's her name, Opa, with the double lightsaber.
Orlani, is it
Orlani? Yeah. Which she, from what I hear, even out of the book where she was kind of a BA, she's like turning crazy and just cutting people's heads off and shit now. So might be a cool character to get up. I think she's just going to be one of those gray Jedis, which we know we like gray Jedis. And then don't forget this on FOC, they turned this into, is it a 4-part mini now?
Yep, 4 parts.
The Monster of Temple Peak. And I love this character. I think finally they're getting out of the slump of crap that they had to get through. I think we saw that in the last novel when Scott finally took it over. Mm-hmm. And I think we've read things where they had to link up and do stuff together, and they've had to get through people's parts. And I like Aaron in some of the stuff he writes, but if I want somebody to write stuff, I want Scott to write it, because after that last novel and after what Monsters looks like it's going to be,
and this miniseries is about York. She's a monster hunter, and it's all Scott.
Yeah, it's all Scott. Yep. Somebody asked last week too, like, hey, what's going on, Patrick? Hey, I'm going to, speaking of that, Patrick, I'm going to be at Gem City next weekend. Probably going to get in for load-in, which is probably Friday morning, and with a couple of the boys, a couple of Detroit boys, and I think Sleepy's going to be joining us too. Sleepy's on one of the shows, isn't he? Sleepy John? Do you guys know who Sleepy John is?
Yeah, once in a while. He was on Deal or Flipside 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So for anybody that's down there in Dayton, Ohio, we'll be there at least for a couple days. Feel free to stop by, say hi. We'll be rounding around. Comic Stick Boy, good to see you too, brother. But anyways, somebody had asked last week, and I missed it in the general chat. You met him in? Yeah, Sleepy is. He's one of the best guys in. He really is one of the best guys in comics. But somebody asked in the chat last week, like, are we over the High Republic? I think we've been saying for a very long time that the main run has been pretty poor. It really has. And some of the stuff hasn't set up like we were hoping, but it does seem like they're turning the corner. And I think they realize it too. Because they've really been pumping up, like, there's a new arc starting. I've never seen Marvel pump a new arc starting more than they have pumped the High Republic's new arc starting. So I think they feel some of the pain there too. Yeah. And although I know a lot of this is planned out, it seems like they're transitioning pretty quickly here towards a faster pace, more coherent storyline. Like, I'll be honest with you, the Drangear thing, all of a sudden in the novel, it wasn't hard to kill him anymore. You know, like in the comic, it's like, we don't know how to all of a sudden in the novel, especially Yorick knows how to kill him real fast.
It was the end of Independence Day where they're like, we know how to kill him now. Let's get the word out.
Over. Yeah, it was over real quick. So I think they're moving away from that, which is pretty cool. And Patrick, if you hit me up in the DMs on IG, I'll send you my phone number so we can catch up. Either way, so that's what's coming out. Make sure you guys are on FOC for that. Make sure, once again, check your LCSs. And even if they say like, hey, dude, we're not letting you get the free comic book day, they're probably getting them. So make sure you try to get them at least on the side.
I don't know if they're, because free comic book day is not till August 14th.
August 14th, right?
Yeah. So I don't know when they're actually releasing them, but I don't know.
You know how that happens sometimes. All of a sudden, a stack or two gets out. Somebody accidentally put them out there. Even though some people, I mean, they still have to pay for these. You think they're free. They're not free. You have to pay for them. They're very cheap. I think it comes down to like 10 cents a stack or something. It's very cheap, or 10 cents. But like, they still have to pay for them. So they do want to get people out there.
And some places stamp them and stuff too. So they get them early so they can stamp them and all that. But I hope they don't stamp them.
I hate it.
Some places do. You know what happens. So.
I still, I mean, I think, I still get, the good part about those is you can still get cheap books that are stamped sometimes later on. I don't know. I have some examples someplace, but I
still find like the one that's first Grievous stamped.
Yeah,
cheap sometimes.
I think I showed that a couple weeks ago. I had that one. I got that one for $1 because it was stamped. All right, let's get done with our recap. That was a short recap this week, but next week hopefully we'll have a lot of good stuff, and we'll talk about JJ's FOMO, which hopefully is still a thing.
Hopefully, no longer FOMO. We'll see.
Well, hopefully you don't. I actually think it's funny. I actually was worried about that. I almost said like you almost had me getting FOMO, and then I thought I don't get FOMO because your chat, the group chat of you go. I didn't realize what FOMO was till I saw you and Pete talking in the chat, and I almost caught FOMO. I was like, this is how you guys catch it. Like all of a sudden you guys start talking, you're looking at the prices all the time. I'm like,
like I said, I kind of talked Pete into buying the other one from Midtown. I'm like,
yeah, I know.
Buy it.
Anyway, so I hope you get it. I think you still will. Next up, we've got this is a little bit before we go with this. You do know when we talk about Bartles and James, apparently Comic Book Jesus doesn't know it's tongue in cheek, and we had to have a bunch of the fans from the show tell him that. So thank you for everybody that was commenting on the IG and filling it out. But yeah, we had a little bit. This blew up. Dom hit me. Dom was on top of this faster than anybody, I guess. Like Agonzo also too. I probably should get him on here back again. I know he's working hard, and thank you for him doing what he does. But like, this was quick, man. As soon as it came down, there was like 10 messages like, look just what happened on Hasbro Labs. And I was like, I can't even watch Hasbro Labs while everything's blowing up because I got so many messages for this. But Dom by far was the first. As you know, our friends here, Bartles on the left and James on the right. Those are their real names. Yeah. What's that? And Bartles had been missing for the last couple weeks. But don't worry, folks. Bartles is back. And boy, did he come back. Oh, my gosh.
Return of the King.
So they had, for those people that don't know, HasLab is pretty much their crowdsource funded. It's Hasbro's crowdsource funded toy line where they get people to hit certain goals, they add stuff on, and then they finally release the product.
So it's like Kickstarter, but just Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that right, Dom? You pretty much cleared it up. You don't want anything.
Pretty much so.
So our boy Bartles came back, man. And, there's been great ones before, like the barge. This was the first one they did. Great detail. It was huge. Then he was supposed to be talking about these two because they were having problems. When this one first came out, they had actually talked about originally it wasn't able to be sold in the European market. They kind of tried at the last minute. Actually, while this picture is from when he was trying to tell people, don't worry about it, Europe. I got you covered. We're going to get you the barge. And it was a disaster. Big surprise. Didn't work out like they thought. Nobody really got it. It was tough to get. But then he talked about the Razor Crest and how they kind of tried to do a better job with that. And then right at this moment, while none of the other executives, except for maybe the guy in the corner, were paying attention, the whole time they weren't paying attention to shit he was saying. Right, Dom? Like, this guy, the guy right here. Go ahead.
He's looking at his messages. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Paying attention to what he was saying.
I don't think this guy ever looked up once. The guy never looked up once.
I think he has like 2 times he looks up for less than a second. It's not even a full second. It was like
in the top right. No.
I mean, it's not even like head move. It just, I was dying.
He looked like he was bored. Like he was just like he didn't want to be part of it. Just sitting there.
Oh yeah, he didn't look like it, but the guy at the bottom left looked like he was writing a novel or something. Like he just was not like they didn't care. I mean, they were kind of like we're laughing because we know that he's going to screw something up. They just, could you imagine? They're like, this guy Bartles over here, just like, come on, bro. And then Bartles gives out that they're going to do a Raycor. He wasn't supposed to be talking about upcoming projects. Like tripped over his own foot. I was going to say something else, but I'm not that crude. Bit his tongue, said it, and then tried to backtrack. He goes, or other black things, and they're going to come up with a Rancor. And these guys weren't paying attention so much. This is right after it. Now look at right, not doing anything. Left still typing his novel. But look at the bottom right. We're going to blow this up. This guy was like, oh, I'm taking your job, bro. You just screwed up hardcore. Hardcore. So he pretty much leaked out that the next project coming up is going to be a Rancor. Mm-hmm. God, I can't believe that. But this is one. So I want to talk a little bit with Dom with this because Dom buys some of this stuff too. This barge right? Look at how big it is. It was greatly detailed. $500, $4.99, right? That was your buy.
Yeah.
And if you donated,
Yeah.
$4.99 to the Kickstarter thing, you would get
To
the
a private
barge.
company.
Yeah, to a private. Well, what happens if they don't make it? You don't get a refund, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Well, that's Kickstarter also. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So,
thing is-
go ahead.
What stinks the most is that, they'll put it out there, a certain goal they want to reach. Oh, we'll add fabric sales. We'll add this. We'll add that. And these details make it nice, but if they don't make the goal for the fabric sales, then it's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
Wait, it is Kickstarter then, so they even have like the different levels.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like a Kickstarter. Like once you
Wow.
get up to this part, we add fabric sale. Then we're going to add in a better Java. Like for instance, the next one I'll show you. It's easier to explain with it. I just want to show how long this is. 30 by 20. But like, so they would add the interior pieces in different colors. The cockpit was different. Then you got I think you got that. You got the carbonite container that he comes in.
You got the
Escape
escape
pod,
pod. Then you had carbonite. You had a carbonite. You had 40 carbonite extra pieces, blocks that came in with ship, and apparently there was supposed to be a lighting feature that never made it. They had rumors that they were going to put a light, which they should have. It would have been so much better to have the light feature. But
you actually, Patrick says, can we still call it the barge? It actually has a name. It's like Canatina or something like that, whatever it is. And that's what they actually refer to it. They don't want you referring to it as the barge. So no, you can't refer to it as the sail barge or Jabba's barge anymore. You have to refer to it as what the hell ever. Who cares? Just like I said, Slave One landed earlier. Look, do whatever you want.
Just Jabba's ship.
well,
No, that's too offensive. So you'd have
Give me
to.
a week, I'll come up with something.
No, it does have a name though.
The good thing about the Slave One, I just found out that yes, and all the packaging, Slave One's going to be taken off, but in canon, they're still going to have it as Slave One.
Yeah.
So TV canon, nothing on. So the toy
Yeah,
from now on,
what I said.
it's Boba Fett's starship.
Yeah, it's like a selling. Look, man, I know
marketing.
Jedi,
It's just marketing.
Yeah, I know Jedi got all messed up with it, but once again, we are still selling toys. Believe it or not, it's not just all of us old dudes out there buying toys. There are actually kids that they're targeting some of these toys for, because if you don't let them buy it, they won't get it.
Right.
So,
Youngest guy on this panel, and I'm not the toy guy. I'm just no. I'm just
yeah, they fit. Finn is right. Flynn is right. They all have been funded so far. Yeah, but so like it's kind of cool. But this is the question I had on this, Dom, and you'll probably hit this up too. And where I'm going, first off, the scale inside this is $350. They're saying that the price point for the new one or whatever it's not $350. It's $349.99. But the next one they're saying is going to be $299.99. $300 for a Rancor. What the hell? Add-ons are you going to put on a Rancor? And we know the size of the other thing. It's not going to be bigger than the Sentinel.
a saddle with a Jedi riding it.
Well, look, I can honestly say if they put the Rancor Keeper with it and Luke with the bone, then it could be worth it because you get the Luke with the bone and the Rancor Keeper. That's really all they could put the half-eaten.
Or $299 or $300, bro.
Throw me a bone here.
Well, look, look. There's nothing really else unless they give a
right.
It's 3 series figures.
Right.
They have what else can they give?
But Dom, you've seen this before. I've only seen one of these out of box, and it's beautiful. It's great.
It's beautiful.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. The detail's great on it. The front end you can drive in. You got the figures on the top, the movable guns, Boba inside. You, for some reason, got Yak Face in there too. This even too, from what looks like 30 feet long, 20 wide. That's a pretty big 10.5 tall. That's a pretty big figure. And it's going to be on scale with all these add-ons. 30 inches. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, not 30 feet. Jesus, could you imagine?
I can. My mind was going with it. I was like, yeah, 30 feet.
But 30 inches. But I saw somebody give like a approximation with these of what it would look like. It's going to be small. It's going to be about the Rancor. If you did it to ratio size, it's going to be probably 6 to 8 inches smaller than the Sentinel that HasLab did. And they just gave the Sentinel out by itself too. There wasn't. I mean, could you? And that thing was what, 175, 200? I don't understand.
Well, listen, they just dropped Galactus, and Galactus is like the Sentinel. So
It's gonna be what? And how much was Galactus?
$400.
Gee, get the bleep out of here. All right, well, I'm a pass.
Can I get one of the stretch goals to be a gate that falls on his head?
But yeah, right. But the Galactus was giant. I mean, the Galactus is bigger than 30 inches. I mean, that from what I saw in the pictures, dude, it's giant.
If it is the same size as the Sentinel, it isn't. It's actually going to be 2 inches shorter than the. Oh no, because they put the Razor Crest on its side. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
so what was the Razor Crest on its side? The Razor Crest on its side was 30, so it was like
30.
28. So it's 28. So you're looking at like
is bigger than that from what I saw.
Okay, so it might be 32. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I think Flynn's got it. Like, you can't have it for more, even with the stuff. Like, maybe $200, maybe 200. I mean, you can't.
You think they know they hook people because it's the way they're doing it, which is HasLab, and you're going to go in and you're going to fund it in anticipation to get the thing. So it's not like they have to worry about it sitting on shelves or something like that. They're not taking a real risk, right?
And they're not mass producing it. And what's it cost them to make it? Like
exactly.
Marvel, they're making 3 times. Yeah.
The only problem with this is, Marvel fan, the only problem with this is this. The first one, the barge, was so limited because they also didn't have overseas sales on it. It was too tough to get it over there, right? Like, you couldn't get it at all. So there was also a huge market for that. This, and by the way, every site that has to deal with these things, when the barge came out, it was game over. Like, they had countdowns, like it was like Christmas for people. Like, get on your computer, get ready, get ready, get ready. This one, the Razor Crest, was similar, not as much pub, but similar. Those same places. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The downside to the whole Razor Crest was that they destroyed it. You know, after everybody backed it and was excited to get it, they destroyed it.
Oh, nice.
And left the bad in people's mouths. And
Yeah.
they wanted a refund.
Yeah.
Because now the ship is gone. So
yeah,
it's a cool ship, and it should have stuck around a little bit longer, but they got everybody's money.
Yeah,
And
so I think that gave some people a bad taste in their mouth. The second thing they did was the actual, like, they wanted something more detailed again too. And a lot of the sites are right now saying, like, the fan sites are saying, like, we're not into it. Like, we don't care that Bartles released it because we hope they change. Like, a lot of them are hoping that they actually change the product ahead of time.
Well, it seems like they only make things that get destroyed, right? They make barge got destroyed,
which is why they would make the Rancor.
The Rancor got destroyed.
Yeah, the Rancor too.
It seems like that's their thing.
Well,
yeah,
maybe it'll be the what was the name of the one that Omega befriended? That one lived supposedly.
The little baby one.
Yeah,
we'll see. I agree. Yeah, but you got to remember, like, both the Sentinels and the barge and even the Unicron was like, they were early on. They haven't ran into these problems yet. We'll see what happens. Who knows, man? Like, there's a bunch of markets that are not doing as well as they were 6 to 8 months ago. Actually, they're not doing as well as they were doing 2 months ago. Feel free to go look at some of those and sales that have come out and what's actually happening. Where this one, at least we knew when they were making stuff that blew up or destroyed. Jedi's got a good point. They had every single one of these. I thought about that too. Has been something that's been destroyed before. But, like, if they can make it, if they give you the pit, the only problem was he specifically said, like the Rancor. He didn't say like the Rancor pit. He didn't say, because it took him like a good 3 sentences or 2 sentences before he knew he screwed up and then came back to it. So I think they already know what they're going on.
I think.
What if they create a whole Jabba's palace and that's just a little piece of it?
That'd be awesome.
5 foot pie Jabba palace.
That would be cool. No, that'd be cool. That'd be cool as hell. No, hey, Marvel fan, I'm not trying to sway anybody which way you can go with it or not, man. I mean, go get it. Especially, I'm just telling you that the buzz between all those things you named, there was a lot of there was a lot of buzz for all that stuff. And this is the first time we've seen something. We've seen something come out of Hasbro Lab that has negative buzz, maybe.
Yeah,
right.
I'm a collector of many things, and I'm not really a toy collector. But as I look at it this way, like, when it comes to these, it's not so much the holding resale value. It's like, if you're a collector who's not going to resell the thing, is it worth $400 or $500 to you then?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a limited Star Wars collectible. You're gonna be able to resell it for at least as much as you paid for it.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
look,
but if
look at
they
this
actually
way.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. You got to look at it this way. Plastic is going up, and the price of plastic is going up. So all these projects that they're doing are getting more and more expensive.
Don't give Bartles ideas. He'll make it out of like fiberglass.
Yeah.
I know, right? Make it a best car,
Yeah, that's right. Right. That's one of the stretch goals. That's a long stretch goal, make it out of Vescar. No, I mean it's definitely something to maybe keep a track of, especially like if it does get poo-pooed a lot. The only thing I'm also going to say is if you listen to that and their plan to open it up, because a lot of this was short stacked because of the European market. And it doesn't seem like that's going to quite be the case anymore. It seems like supply is going to increase. And this might be one of their most supplied products. And the demand for this product may be one of their least demandable products, which does set up a very good opportunity just further down the line. Just to keep that in. Just to keep that in. We did skip Visions. Thank you, JJ. Next time, just tell me Bad Boy, and we'll go.
I didn't realize it till now.
All right, we're gonna get into Visions, guys. We've been moving this for like 3 weeks now. Every content creator that's trying to find content has been waiting for us to talk about this. So here we go. We will give it to them, even if they try to release it before us.
Yep.
They could just say hi and have us on.
Yep.
I mean, they get more views than us. We could just come over there. They could come over here. It wouldn't make a difference. You know what I mean? All right. Here we go. Let's present it. Visions it is.
Visions. Okay, so for those not in the know yet, Visions is going to be 10 animated episodes that are going to come out in September on Disney Plus, all done by Japanese studios. So what you're going to see is going to be a little bit different for some people, but for anime fans, you're really going to like it. So go ahead and go.
Famous ones too, right? Famous studios.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. There's some newer studios and some famous studios, so it's quite a mix.
I like how they got. I like the idea of this project. I hope you get into a little bit more.
I think, yeah, we'll get into it for sure. Okay, so I started with probably the strangest one first. To go from here. So Tatooine Rhapsody is kind of supposed to be a Star Wars rock opera. Mm-hmm. And in it, they have all the main characters. From what I can glean from the preview pictures, now I'll be upfront with everybody. There is not a lot of footage and or images of Visions yet. There's literally like 5 minutes of video they released.
And some bad translations too, by the way. And poor translating. And that's about it. So reading like Japanese Twitter accounts and trying to pull pictures off of there was also hard. But this is what it is. As you can see, it strangely looks like Jabba the Hutt has hair and playing guitar on the top left. So this one's going to be interesting. Apparently the theme of it is that you have to do what's in your heart regardless of your position, is what the director called it. So that sounds kind of like a theme there. So real quickly, though, these are going to be all of them are going to be non-canon, and some of them, though, however, are going to take place during the canon era. Mm-hmm. So, like, you're going to see some characters that have been canonized. This is going to be a lot like the Freemakers. If you've watched the Freemaker cartoon before, there's plenty of canonized characters, included Dengar in there. Dengar in there, but they don't. Yeah, that's not a canonized story. So you're gonna see it, and this is similar. They actually are letting these guys use their styles, which I really The one thing I will say, we'll talk more about it later, but I'll get to the next one. So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, to that point too, they gave them the blank check to do whatever they wanted, more or less. Disney said, "Do whatever you want. You can put it in the timeline. It's not going to be canon. You can use whatever character you want." Well, I don't know if they said you can use whatever character you want, but they didn't give him any rules. Yeah. So we'll put it that way. But anyways, so this is Studio Claridio, which is basically, I don't know. By the way, a lot of the Japanese studio names and stuff, I don't know if I'm going to say them right. So you have to get used to me mispronouncing things in this segment. But so they're a newer one. They're mostly known for 1 or 2 movies they did, and then also a web animated series called Pokemon Twilight Wings, which was, I guess, fairly popular, especially in Japan. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The first one, again, with the names, I'm not real sure, because there's actually like an umlaut or something on one of these names, but I think it's Lulp and Ocho is the name of this episode that's going to be. So this is Genio Studio. And this one does have a timeline setting, so it's supposed to take place between episodes 3 and 4. So about when the Empire is kind of starting up. And basically it's kind of like a nature versus technology setup. It's, to me, I found it kind of interesting because they even came out and said that Lop, which is kind of the bunny type character you see there, she's actually based on, or at least inspired by, Jackson as far as design goes. So one of our favorite characters, got a little nod there. And so this one is going to be interesting. It's going to be very, I guess, Japanese culture influenced in this one, which I think is going to be interesting. But it's still also going to take place in the not Jedi timeline, Star Wars timeline. So, and in a part of the timeline we've seen a lot of. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they put it in there.
I found this one interesting because they're using like different types of stuff, right? They're definitely using a K2SO droid, and they're definitely doing a take from the Jackson the Rabbit, which was like, it's kind of cool. Like when you heard some of these artists, there were some that were like, oh, okay. But there were some who were very excited about being able to work on these projects.
And I'll say this for this whole project, Star Wars is extremely popular in Japan and Asia, all of Asia, really. So, and you don't see a lot of it, but when you look at Star Wars, a lot of Star Wars is influenced by Asian culture. I mean, there's tons of Kurosawa,
Kurosawa, Hidden Temple,
I mean,
it's
a lot of it is in there. Lucas took a lot of it from Japanese culture, and I'm not saying he copied it, but it's influenced by it.
But there's been anime lines already of the books. They have
there's
Magna or whatever it is
right here. You got Star Wars. You don't have to make me big, but it's basically Star Wars manga. This was only released in Europe and Japan. They didn't even release it in the U.S. So,
but they actually do have like the whole storyline broken down. And they actually have some of the newer, all the movies are broken down.
Manga adaptations of all the movies done by Japanese teams. So, so it's not the first time.
Some in Japanese and then some translated. You can find the original ones, and then you can find and actually some of those. I think Empire does pretty well both in the original form and the translated form too. All right. So then what do we have next?
Village Bride by, I'm going to say, Kianuma Citrus. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's what I'm going with. So this is the story of a fallen Jedi who basically is kind of traveling the galaxy and comes across a wedding of, it doesn't say who, but basically of important individuals. Again, you're going to see a lot of Japanese customs, kind of wedding customs and such involved in the Star Wars universe. Interestingly enough, the director made a specific mention to say that not all weddings have happy endings. So it'll be interesting to see how the Jedi come in there. I don't know if there's going to be like a battle or something regarding it.
I thought it was like, because I interpreted it as it being an arranged marriage.
Yeah, it seems like almost like a medieval times kind of like warring factions, and these two are getting married to unite the faction. Kind of, it's how I took it. I might have been interpreting it correctly. Like I said, not all the translation and stuff is perfect in the video.
Yeah,
so it's a little hard to follow.
I took it more like how it was understanding from the little bit that I know from history and everything else, like two warlords, and they were to unify under the shogun. They're like getting together. That's what that usually turns out a lot of times if you watch some of those. Either the Japanese or the Korean movies, a lot of those don't turn out too well. So like people's heads roll. Like if you thought Game of Thrones was or blood
like Game of Thrones,
that's like every day. Like everybody just gets stabbed and somebody dies horrible death. Yeah. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that one. I think it might be good too.
It'll be interesting.
I'm looking forward to a lot of these for some reason. This one, I think, is everybody. I think is right.
Yep. So that's the one I'm waiting for.
Yeah. I think this one's going to be one of the better ones. And this is done by one of the, at least modernly more known studios, which is Kamikaze Doga. So basically, they're taking a classical Japanese Western type story. Again, think Kurosawa, I guess you could think of. Like he did a lot of kind of Western influenced Japanese culture. And you have basically they're putting it in the Star Wars design. And it looks awesome from what they have so far. The character design looks great. And it's one of the few ones that's actually going to have Star Wars Ronin, which is going to be out in October, is the tie-in novel for it.
Which is good. That looks cool. I mean, I like it. And plus, one of the directors for this is one of the older directors, too, that grew up on it, which is going to be fun. Yeah.
They did the Batman Ninja movie that came out too long ago and a couple other things. So
that movie was so good. I loved it.
Yep. The art was awesome in it. So I think the art's going to be amazing in that segment.
A lot of people didn't like it. I loved it. I thought the art was just phenomenal.
This is another big one. These two are probably by far top on the list for me. And everybody has said that the art from a lot like Kill la Kill and stuff that they do here is pretty good a lot of times.
You're going to get a lot of Kill la Kill with So Trigger is the studio that does this one, the twins. And basically you have a storyline that involves It takes place after Rise of the Skywalker, and it's going to be two twins, which are raised. They said raised by the dark side of the Force, but it looks like from all the previews that one's going to end up kind of on the light side and the dark side, and they're going to square it off. It seems that way. So a very Luke Leia versus each other influence is what kind
or
of
like the Old Republic. Remember the Old Republic twins? Like
Yep.
They did. The translation was tough here because it said the remnants of the Empire, but I think we're thinking it's going to be the remnants
of the First.
No, they said the remnants of the First Order, but I think
they said Empire, but I think it's First Order.
It
could be Empire. I don't know. They're both remnants there, but
whatever.
Remnants of some sort of military faction.
But it would be interesting because it's usually like they're trying to always teach the twins how to be on the light side and one turns dark. That's like the typical Star Wars legacy storyline.
Like it's kind of going to be the opposite, where
they're
starting off dark and one turns light.
I have a question. Is this the last one, JJ, or is there another one?
Nope, there are more. But you can ask if you got one.
Okay, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and ask before I forget. So it seems like with this anime, they're trying to reach a new audience, maybe through this anime.
Yeah, I think to a degree. I think. I wonder why, if that's the intent, if that's the end, if that's the goal, then if you pull in these new audience members into the to the Star Wars universe through manga, and then those fans, once they come into the universe, finds out none of this is canon. I'm just kind of wondering if that's going to be like, what the hell? I think that to a degree, that's why they're being so upfront about it, not being canon. I mean, they directly said actually more than once in the presentation, like, this is not canon. Like, we're giving them license to do all this, but it's not canon is kind of what they said. I think it'll be a bridge for some fans, and I think it'll draw in younger fans, because anime and manga is very popular amongst younger people, and especially in other cultures other than us. So I think it'll pull in a lot of those fans. And I think what they're hoping, even though it may not be canon, they're hoping there'll be some crossover there. Like maybe they'll get and really like Bad Batch, or maybe they'll really like, some other media they see on Disney Plus that's Star Wars involved. And I think it's also for fans of Star Wars. Like me, I'm a huge anime fan and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So they kind of merge.
Harbin says this right, and I really like this, that they gave this. You know what this reminded me of? I was going to wait till the end for this. I actually asked Nick Hart. You guys check him out if you aren't. He does a lot of Magna stuff and friend of the channel. But I asked him about this real quickly. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not really into the Star Wars thing, but I'm going to make him watch it and then tell me afterwards, and then maybe have him come on here and review stuff." With that being said, like, I think there's already a pretty rabid fan. I know for a fact there's a pretty rabid fan base already for the Star Wars Magna stuff. Like, it might not be the overall Magna base, but there definitely is.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you go look at those original 3, there definitely is a fan base for this. I also know this as somebody who was not so disappointed when they said, "Hey, we're going to wipe the slate clean and bring in what we want." I like that they are. If they did this with all the legacy stuff, I don't think we would have ran into that problem. Like if they distinctly said, "Hey, guess what? Instead of having Timothy fight with somebody else about who's going to write this storyline, and they're both putting a bunch of crap together to try to like outdo each other, you're going to get more what you got with the new Thrawn trilogy, where it's more concise, and you can still do stuff that doesn't add up. If you watch stuff like the Freemakers and stuff like that, the non-canon stuff is pretty good, and a lot of times some of it is kind of cool, man.
And don't forget we've had, like, Thrawn's a great example. You've had stuff that is, or at least was placed into non-canon material and then brought back into canon. So a lot of this stuff takes place in the Star Wars timeline. There's no reason they can't say, okay, well, these characters from the twins, if we do something after Rise of Skywalker, they're canon now.
Yeah, if it becomes extremely popular, absolutely. I agree. So
I can also see this.
Go ahead, Dom.
Go ahead, go Solo. Go ahead, Solo.
No, Dom, go.
I was saying, I can honestly see if this takes off, we could see more in the future, and maybe toys and books and stuff like that in the future, to bring it up even more, because Japanese anime is one of the top-notch worldwide cartoons out there. People love that. So if you can get the Star Wars people and fan base into this, and this really takes off, you probably see, like I said, toys and comic books, and look, you have a novel tie-in. So if you have a novel tie-in to one of the episodes, you can rest assured that they look big plans for this down the road.
Mhm.
So
Go ahead, Sol.
They did release a clip in a TIE Fighter X-Wing battle in full anime that was on YouTube for a while, and everybody lost their minds. Everybody loved it. Everybody thought, and it's still out. You can find it on YouTube today and go watch it. And it was amazing good.
Yep.
So bringing in that generation of younger teen to it and attracting them, plus even, you know, like myself, and I think Marco really enjoyed it. I heard him say, but when, like, even the older audience of Star Wars, you know, who saw that clip when we all said, man, that was really amazing. I hope they do some more stuff like that. I think this is a big answer to that, because that came out, what was that, 4 years ago or so?
Yeah, it was.
Like that.
So my question wasn't really to be the grumpy old man and say,
That's all right. You turned it to
No.
I guess my question was, I mean, my thought is, and again, if it does, great. Are we looking at different timelines or universes, if you will, within the Star Wars story now, like we see in Marvel?
Yeah.
Other
Well,
things. Sometimes.
they already
Or
have this, right?
Are we looking at continuity within the anime Star Wars universe? If I'm saying,
I think get there.
Coherently.
Yeah, it could get. It could be eventual, but I think to start off, no. I mean, like Marco said, they've done it a little bit before. Like the Lego had the latest holiday special, which took place after Rise of the Skywalker, and they came out and said when they released it, they're like, this holiday special is not canon. Like
nothing Legos is.
It has all the characters. Yeah,
but Lego, they did that a while ago where nothing Legos can be canon anymore, which is. But no, I think Hartman brings up a good point. Like, it's going to be from different studios too. I think they're casting out a huge net here, seeing if stuff sticks, and like kind of like how, once again, they with Del Rey, like this is the part I think people sometimes misunderstand when I say I was okay with them saying this is all legend stuff now, right? Like it was because what they did over there was they did the similar thing where they let like everybody write stories, and it was so weird, and sometimes the stuff didn't add up, and then you get the Emperor coming back in 15 different people's studios with 35 different clones of them, and everybody blowing up the clone lab, and then it's in the next story because somebody else wanted to write that in. You know what I mean?
And I guarantee you it'll draw people in for things like the art alone. Like there's a lot of anime that I never set out to watch, and a lot of manga I never set out to read until somebody said, just read this chapter or watch these 2 episodes. Like, don't pay anything attention to the art. You don't need the sound on. I mean, just pay attention to the art. You don't need the sound. And it convinced me to watch that whole series. So,
but I wonder too, like how many people it'll cross. Like, I wonder how, like, as far as Star Wars Magna does very well, but as far as the grand scheme of Magna and Star Wars, it's a very, very small portion. And from what I understand, because I'm not going to act like I'm an expert in it, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination, but I have a feeling now, especially with what Harbin said, they're going and touching all of that and saying, "Hey, come over here." And and I think it's a misconception too that it's young people, because I think, you know, working cons for, you know, well over a decade now, they were young people that were 20-year-olds 10 years ago or 15, 16. We would call them the no pocketers because they never had any pockets, so they never buy anything, right? No pocketers, no money. But those kids are now 25 and 35. They're not kids anymore, and they have money too. So I think the demographic has changed now, where it used to be a bunch of the girls doing chants in corner. I could never wrap my mind around it. I don't even try to understand what they were doing, but I think it's now gotten to a point where it's more mainstream as a whole. Much like you see soccer taking over in America finally a little bit. You know, I mean, it's never going to be as big as football, but it's at least they have.
I mean, in that generation, it's huge. My 18-year-old daughter has been a manga fan for a while, and now, I mean, she loves it. That generation is really tied into it.
Yeah,
so, I mean, when I went into the boardroom and sat down, I said, I need some content for Wookiee Vision, and I'm thinking if you just take and put some stories out there, Wookiee Vision.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even that big into Star Wars. I think he likes MCM better than he likes this show, but what he's saying is like he's big into anime, and this is going to be big for anime. And I think Solo now, you know, like all those people that like the Gendry stuff. Could you even call that anime? I don't know. We'll see. All right. Anyways,
certain style maybe.
Yeah, it is. Totally a style
music's
of,
gonna be good too. All right, let's
Yes.
flick this. We got to keep going.
Yep.
All right.
On with the show. So, second one by Trigger. So, Trigger did 2 episodes. They're one of 2 studios that did 2 different episodes. And you got this one actually takes place early. So, I couldn't quite figure out exactly where. I know it takes place prior to episode 1. So, before Phantom Menace. They didn't say whether or not it took place in the High Republic. So, I don't know how far before. But basically, it's designed to explore the pairing or the dynamic of a Jedi Master and his Padawan. And this looks like it's going to have really awesome action or fight scenes in it. And so basically, despite the timeline placement, he said the director said they didn't want any connection to existing characters. So basically, we're going to see all new characters in this one, just with the whole Jedi, and it looks like even Sith dynamic in there.
That's cool. Gotta say hi to a couple more people in the chat. Blue Pig Gaming, thanks for showing up. Ruben, hey, thanks. We know work's tough and you gotta get here early. We appreciate it. Of course, we talked about Hartman already, and Dwayne. Always good to see you in the chat. We're going on to the next one. And by the way, Hartman said that that Trigger Studio is probably one of the better studios to produce this stuff. So
yeah,
you can choose
one. Was pretty good. Kill la Kill was a very famous one they did.
Yeah.
They've done some pretty famous anime. But...
All right, this one I kind of fell off on, but
yeah, this one's a little different, and there wasn't a lot of footage to pull from these. Actually, this is 2 episodes. So Science Saru is another one studio that's doing 2 episodes, and one's Akakiri, which Akakiri was basically a love story. This kind of sounds familiar to Obi-Wan and Duchess Satine story, but basically it's a Jedi love story or love story, between a Jedi Knight and a princess. That again doesn't necessarily have a happy ending, as the director put it. So. That could be interesting. The top left art is from that, and then also the kind of the middle left there with the brightness of the color. That's the concept art for it. And then you got TOB1, which is the story of a lone little droid that has dreams, but he has to give up those dreams for something bigger, and it's kind of going to be like a coming of age story. They didn't have a lot of detail on this one either. Art in it looks good, especially given it's kind of inspired. Well, actually, definitely inspired by Astro Boy, which is super famous. And then you have it's done by Science Saru, and they're most famous for doing a couple movies, anime movies, most of which was really popular, which was The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, which was a very popular book too.
Hey JJ, quick question. So, do we know how these are going to be presented? Is the target like American audiences? Are they targeting?
It's on Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus.
So
I
guess, is it going to be English as the primary language? Is it going to be subtitled? Is it going to be dubbed? Or do we?
Assume so. Like they did something similar for The Matrix called Animatrix when it came out, and it had a mix of dub and then some were only subbed. And I assume it's going to be similar to that here. I don't know because they haven't said voice casting or anything like that. And given the fact that they a lot of the trailer video was translated and stuff, and now that's not saying those are interviews, so that's different, but still saying that I think a lot of it's probably going to be subbed.
Okay, I see where he's going. Okay, chat. So can anybody in the chat help out Jedi? He's probably going to need very large print. Is there a way to make the print on the screen extremely large, like those big telephones with the big numbers? Is there a way to do that?
If I
Is that where you're going?
Make sure it goes real slow too. Not just big letters, but slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start a GoFundMe for a bigger TV for Jedi.
Trust me, we don't want to go down the rabbit hole. We don't want to go down the rabbit hole in anime of which is better, the sub or the dub. So I'm not going to get
Kurosawa was almost all dubbed, right? All of his was dubbed.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Wait, the movies?
Yeah, the movies.
No, I mean there were a lot of people watch them subbed, but yeah, there were some that were dubbed too.
Dubbed, yeah. I think you could watch it, and then there's somebody else out there. There's one that did this Yuzuki Papers that I remember. Once you start getting into reading it, it's not as bad as you would think it is.
Yeah, yeah. It flows. If you've ever watched a foreign movie or something like that, it is really not that bad. The only thing I've ever liked about subbed is it takes a little bit away from the art.
Yeah, it does. You have to watch it twice. You're right.
Yep.
All right. The Ninth Jedi.
Yep, Ninth Jedi. So this is the last one. There are 10 episodes, but I kind of combined that last one into one slide. Anyways, Ninth Jedi is another story that takes place after the Skywalker saga. So it's expected to be they didn't quite say exactly how long. I kind of took it to be like a double length of the other ones, so it's going to be a little bit longer. And then basically, it's the story of the Jedi after the Rise of the Skywalker. Oh, well, actually, the whole Skywalker saga. So they're trying to basically tell the story of what the Jedi are like and how they're involved going forward.
We lost Tom.
Yep, we lost Tom. But
Sorry.
apparently, according to what they said, it's going to depict a galactic level adventure, whatever that means. But basically, it's going to be all new characters, including the Jedi. And this is probably done by the most famous out of all these studios, which is Production IG, who done more anime projects that I can count. They're famous for Ghost in the Shell, Armitage. I don't even know. I could go on with probably a dozen more. But
Apparently Hartman's really excited about this one. So
yeah,
you have to check it out. Hey Hartman, is a lot of this do you think this is gonna be subtitled? What is your opinion on this? Is this gonna be subtitled? I know there's a little bit of a
I thought in that video that I watched when they were giving the breakdown, kind of director's editorial like preview. Hey, this is what we think we're doing. To my understanding, some of these were going to be dubbed in English, and then there was a couple of them that were actually subtitled.
Yeah. I think they'd have to.
It was a mix. Yeah, it's probably going to be a mix, and they might have left it up to the studio.
Oh, he said subtitle first.
I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how that's going to go over comparative subs. I mean, I don't mind it, but I know I think that Jedi's concern with that is pretty realistic. I think that there's going to be a certain type of person that's going to be like, I'm not reading this. Yeah. And then I wonder if they'll go back when they.
I think some of the bigger projects they might dub. Like you might see like the Ninth Jedi or something dubbed. And you might see them go back and dub it. Yeah. Like a couple months after it's released or something. So.
All right, cool. Any other questions on this one?
Nope.
All right, and then next we did that. Oh, Bounty Hunter. Okay, who wants to go first? So we are doing this new thing. I hope you guys like it. We're gonna tailor it a little bit better. Get a couple more down there. Some of them are gonna be random. They're pretty much, instead of doing character profiles, we figured out a way to do it where we're just going to every week pick a couple bounty hunters maybe that we want to see in the Book of Fett, and by the time the Book of Fett comes up, hopefully it'll be great. You know what I mean? Hopefully we'll see some of these characters. So we're not going to do like the normal ones. Like we know that like Bobo is going to be like anyone that they already announced is going to be there. We're probably not going to cover. We're going to cover ones that maybe we've forgotten about, could have been in the animation, but have never been done in live action before. So like we're not going to cover Boba Fett, IG-88, Bosk, Dangar, and Forlom or Zuckuss. We're not covering those because they already showed up in the movie. They will not be covered. But we start off with Jedi. Do you want to start off with yours first? We're going to start off with the hot one first. So,
did we ever decide if we were going to jump Aura Singh in there? Because she did show up for 3 seconds or 10 seconds or something. Didn't we disqualify her?
Because
she's dead by then, isn't she?
Well, it's an interesting point that she might not be, but yeah, we might. If we territory. If we start getting thin on it, we might do it there. I was actually thinking about throwing her in as an add-on to this one, because we could have played that game, but I decided not to. So here we go. We're going to start off with Cad Bane. Jedi wanted to do this one because he said it would be easy. So let's see how easy it is for Jedi.
I guess it depends on the questions or whatever. But yeah, so Cad Bane is the first one. He hasn't been in any live action, either movies or television series. So he made the cut. He met the criteria. So he's first. Let's go. Next slide. So why do people like, or why do I like, and I'm going to say why do a lot of people like Cad Bane, and why he's the most respected, he's the most capable. After Jango's death, he was elevated to the most respected, the most capable. Why is he a fan favorite? Well, he's a lot like Clint Eastwood in his, he was designed that way, I believe, although I can't cite any references. I didn't look for any references. But if you just look at him, and he's just so much of a Western Clint Eastwood type. And of course, everyone loves Clint Eastwood. So next.
Oh, there we go. Hey.
So, oops.
Sorry.
So notable facts, I guess. His origin. He's from Duros. He's a Duros species from the planet Duro, which is a core world. He was born in 62 BBY. After like I said before, after Django's death, he was kind of elevated to become the galaxy's best bounty hunter, which you can kind of get that feeling from the animation series that he's been in. Some of his notable actions: he's kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine. He stole holocrons from the Jedi Temple. He's freed Zero, Jabba's cousin, from Republic prison, and he kidnapped Force-sensitive kids. So he's hired to do the tough jobs. And lastly, his companion. I'll go ahead and skip the last. I'll come back to that. His companion is Toto, which recently became my second favorite droid because he's just cool as heck. So according to legend, he was killed by Boba Fett, but now we're starting to wonder if that's going to be canon or not. So it's TBD, to be determined. We'll find out what his end is.
And that could be I think that could be one of the guys that, they're saying that he's got debts that he has to pay, like he's going back to find people. That could be somebody that he owes he wants to, cross off his list as debts anyways.
That trusty Toto.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's cool. All right. Yes. So key comic appearances, Star Wars Darth Maul #2.
Supposedly. Yes, supposedly.
Which, so that's his first supposedly comic.
Oh, no. I was saying that to Michael Palmer. He said he put the dent in Bubba's helmet supposedly.
Oh, okay, Roger. So yeah, Star Wars Darth Maul #2, first comic appearance. And those are there was one second print. And so we have I can't say that word, the Raphael
Albuquerque.
Is that Albuquerque? Okay.
Yep.
9/8 are about a little under 500, about 450.
Really?
Raw 75s now. We have the 40th anniversary cover by Paul Renaud, which is 120 9/8, $40 for a Raw. The Aja. David Aja is the big dog. Is that right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, you're saying it right. That was my eBay screw up from earlier.
That's your FOMO.
Painful, yes.
FOMO memory. So yeah, 9/8 are huge at $1,000, and Raws are running about $415. We may hear more about that in a JJ Folly one of these episodes. Yeah. And then we have the second print, which is a reprint of the Albuquerque cover. Which is probably the second most expensive. It is the second most expensive. 9/8 about a little under $1,000, and Raw is running about $115. So I also threw in there his first cover appearances. There's a #3 is his first cover appearance. There's a first and second print, both of which are gaining momentum, gaining value, and the second print, especially because it's that black cover, it looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next.
I gotta get that freaking Aja graded.
I know. I was just thinking, I need to send.
You had to bring that up again.
Bad way.
You're not gonna let that go. Okay, so other appearances in collectibles, non-comic appearances. Of course, we had the Clone Wars appearances, and he's also appeared in several mobile games, I guess, for phone games or whatnot.
I used to use him a lot in Force Arena.
Yeah,
he was great in that one.
And then, so other collectibles figures. He's got the one figure with Toto. I believe that was a San Diego Comic-Con release or New York Comic. I can't remember now.
I think San Diego. I think.
Yeah, it's been so long since I made this slide. It seems like, but it's really cool. It's really cool slide. And then there's the just the regular Black Series release. And he got a Lego, and he has some bust. I know he has forget who makes it now. It's down there on the bottom left.
No. Is it 6 scale?
It's not diamond. Is it diamond?
No, I thought it was 6 scale too.
6 scale.
6 scale.
I think so.
So no, not too expensive. Okay, so other appearance or what I want, my dream, I guess, as far as live action for CAD, would be. I think he's going to be. My dream would be for him to appear in Boba Fett. We'll see how that shakes out. But I think the reality is going to be a big middle finger from Disney. We're not going to get to see a live action Cad Bane. So, yeah, Disney does it again as far as that's concerned. But if he were to do a live action, we'll go to the land of if here. What if? Physical actor, I think Scott Eastwood, because of his dad being Clint Eastwood. Maybe he could pull off that demeanor, that swagger that Clint had. For the voice, initially I picked. I took his name's not there.
Alan Rickman.
Alan, yeah.
Alan Rickman.
And after I submitted the slide, JJ's like, he's dead, and I was like, no, I didn't know he was
passed away.
So
a couple years ago.
I did a rest in peace, Alan. So I did a quick Google to find out who did a good impersonation of him, and come to find out, Benedict Cumberbatch does a very good impersonation of him. So I said, okay, let's let Benedict get in there and just do a voice, because I think because of the character, and I think it would be like kind of a Darth Vader thing where you have an actor, a physical actor, and a voice actor.
Yeah.
So Eastwood for the physical action, and then Cumberbatch would do the voice. That's kind of
Jedi. In other old man news, the chat's asking: is the old man Eastwood dead?
I don't know. He's alive.
No, he's alive.
He is alive.
He's alive.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He's old.
Pretty
He's
good.
very old, but he's alive. Do I have another slide? Like I said, it's been so long, I don't remember.
No, you don't have any more slides.
That's it. All right.
You could have reviewed the slides. Stop giving me a hard time. We had so much stuff that we planned this about a month ago, and it has
it was worth the wait.
It was worth it. It was a good job. I actually think that you're wrong there. I actually think there's a high probability that they could, he says he has to go back and take care of old business, settle old scores. I think they said this. I mean, when you think about people he's got to sell old scores with, if it's true that the metal plate is in Cad Bane's head, is where Boba Fett shot him, and he put the dent in Boba Fett's head, that's definitely somebody he could go back and have an old debt to. And plus, I mean, I didn't cry when Luke came back, but I might lose my shit if fucking Cad Bane is live action.
I mean, obviously, with his appearance in Bad Batch, I think we're definitely going to see him in more animation.
Yeah,
definitely. I just got a feeling that
I don't think he's like.
Action.
But this is it too. I think the difference between him and Django was that Cad Bane probably was the better quote unquote bounty hunter out of the two. But when they were using it, they also need a little bit of a trustworthy moral compass, which Cad Bane is not trustworthy at all. He's literally the top dollar. I'll sell out for if you remember when they were doing the Django storyline, the hell is that called? The little mini that they did with Django. Anybody? What?
Open season. Open season.
Yeah, open season. If you remember open season, part of it was to see if he was a quality human being. There's no quality alien / human being with Cad Bane. Oh, he's a dirty piece of crap, but he's an awesome dirty piece of crap with jetpack feet and stuff like that. He is the bad of the bad. So I don't know. I'm hoping. I like this one, Jedi. I'm glad you did it. It's pretty cool. There is a lot of cool stuff with him, but the price is going up on everything. Go ahead.
Just one thing. The Cad Bane, the deluxe Cad Bane with Toto, that was a European exclusive, and then
that's what it was. European. Yeah,
and Hasbro had it on their site.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Pulse Con thing.
Yeah, that's
What's it going for, Dom? Do you know offhand?
When I picked it up, I picked mine up for $80, about $100, $120.
Yeah, it's more than that. Yeah, 100, 120. I think was the last time I looked at it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. And then the next one we have is from. Okay, this is going to be done a different way. This is from. Here we go. Solo. What do you got?
So I got some Valance for y'all. He's definitely a traditional style character as he goes back to the original Star Wars comic book, Volume 1. Number 16 is his first appearance. His home world is Chorin, and he was born into being a slave. He was born as a slave on a mining colony, so much like his father, he and him were both miners. Yes, they were born underage. Go figure. He then grew up and joined the Galactic Imperial Navy. He was cadet number 404-913. And who else was in that Navy about that same time? Well, none other than Han Solo. So him and Han served in the Navy together and gave each other a little bit of harassing here and there. And you go to the next slide. And they ended up having some back and forth where Han basically shot him down while they were training. And he got jacked up a little bit, and they revived him. And then he became infantry in the Imperial Army. And that was a picture of him as a swamp trooper. And after he becomes in the infantry, he's out running around and on a mission, and he gets all blowed up. So he's laying there about dead, and the Empire comes in and saves him and basically rebuilds all of them with the extensive cybernetics, puts them all back together, kind of makes him, just another test Vader, if you will.
$6 million man of the Empire.
That's right. The first $6 million man. And he returns home after that because the Empire won't let him be in the infantry anymore. And he kind of tries to defend his home planet and his hometown a little bit and ends up failing. And then he ends up leaving because of his failure and his hometown getting overrun. And he becomes a bounty hunter, and he studies under Nakano Lash. And she kind of takes him in and starts training him. Now, this is kind of where his storyline really, truly begins in my mind. Him and Lash sit, and they end up kind of screwing each other over and stabbing each other in the back. And that's really his convoluted storyline for the rest of his life there on out. Him and every other bounty hunter he works with them, they get together. Everyone's always stabbing each other in the back. Next slide. So after a little bit of that, he's got some successful and unsuccessful, bounties that he does, and he starts stealing other bounty hunters' bounties, which ends up with a price on his head. Mm-hmm. And some of the other guys are looking for him.
Yeah.
And then
he goes against the organization, right?
Mm-hmm. Or bounty hunters or whatever. And he starts messing with them a bit. Well, then the Hidden Hand hires him to hunt down Vader. And that's where you start seeing your first real, break off series with Target Vader. And it explains how he gets in there and he hires a lot of the other bounty hunters. You get some Dengar and all the other guys that come in that hire him. Once again, everybody stabs everybody in the back. And
Dengar really, at the end of the story, Dengar really stabbed him in the back. Dengar sold him out to the Empire.
Yeah, he does. He does. Spoiler alert on that one.
It's like 3 years old. There's no spoiler alert. We're not even going
to. And it's I really enjoyed it. I think it's a fun read. It's not a long read. It's like 5 or 6 books, but it's fun. And I think there's only 1 or 2. There's really only one hard to find one out of that run, out of the AB covers. So after that, he kind of, as everyone does, goes, wait a minute, that's Vader. I went looking for him. That was dumb. I'm not going to win that one. They all kind of give up and part their separate ways. And he kind of escapes barely with his life. But he does, and he learns. And then later on, from there on, it's just jobs and going back and forth and dealing and doing jobs with Boba and with Zuckuss and Forlum a lot. And going back and forth throughout the whole thing. That whole timeline there is just bounty hunter, mission after mission after mission after, collecting pucks, dealing with it. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. And then, of course, we get our new bounty hunters line that comes in there. So when it comes to action figures and a bunch of that other stuff, there's nothing. I could have swore there was a 2-pack figure I think I was thinking of someone else, but I thought there was a Valance. I am wrong. There's not. I was looking and looking and looking, but there is some custom ones, like this special action figure set that they kind of put a picture of and kind of made up, which I thought was really fun, which is why I threw that picture up there. If you're out there looking,
weird pairing of Luke, Valance, and Jackson.
and
Just like
Jackson around.
whoever I want goes in this pack.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it was cool, because it's just like three of the most oddball, because it's not even like, Dagobah Luke or anything. It's just like, Luke gets a metal Luke. Yeah, it's like the worst non-action Luke ever. And then it was hilarious. I thought that was a really cool set. There is one figure out there that was custom made, and it does look exactly like this Valance here in this pack. But yeah, there's not anything out there for action figures or toys, or he's really kind of an unknown character. But him and Boba and IG-88, Dengar, all those guys really have a lot of intertwined storyline and action later down the road, and it really fits a lot of the timeline for Book of Fett and a lot of that comes up. So I think we could see it. And then, of course, the only other action figure would be, subject action figure would be the Star Wars 108 JTC variant, which I think quite a few of us either have or are on the hunt for and know about. The biggest book and the only book I know that's really gone up in price with him is that 1 in 50.
Yeah, I'll show you in a minute.
I hate that cover. I hate it. I despise it.
So this is actually a character I love. We've talked about this character before, and at one time, I think like 6 months ago, we were talking about it was a $10 book for 16, which is now up to like easily a $20 book. Probably one of the most undervalued books that there's out there. The storyline of him and Vader fighting, that was pretty much the original storyline that went through the original Marvel series, which 16 being the first one in that. And then they kind of Target Vader was kind of based loosely off that, where that was going to be his main protagonist. Obviously, like Solo said, then Dengar came up and spoiled all that. It has been a little bit back and forth, but he seems now to be, him and Boba Fett seem to have a little personal grudge match ever since then. And which is pretty nice. I mean, it's pretty fun to see. I will, if I may, Solo, let me pull up a couple.
I got to ask, do you think JTC on that action figure variant purposely made him look that much like the Terminator?
He did. I mean, he's based. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of his stuff, he is the Terminator of Star Wars. Thank you for bringing that up. He was
first, right? Terminator was after him.
Yeah, Terminator was after him. So
yes,
he was
first. Yep, and Cable. Cable's after him.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So real quickly, let's show them a couple more things.
He really, I mean, there's a really strong. The more that I read about him and look him up, and the more about his background that I find out, there is a real strong chance. I really didn't think we'd see him in a million years. He's really tied into Han and to Boba and I mean, that whole storyline and all the other bounty hunters. He's really interwoven there.
No, I think that's deep. Yeah, I think that's why they kind of brought him up. I think that's why they're redoing him and keeping him in so many storylines, is because they have plans for him. This too, Imperial Cadets. I always pick up this book number 1, and I actually like this variant, but there's a couple other ones.
That's
but why
hard to find.
Yeah, as Solo was saying earlier, this is where they first name him. This is actually the scene where he took that. Solo got the picture out where they're actually beating the crap out of Han, and they don't actually till book number 3. I think. Hold on, I pulled him in here too for him to help him out. We were having a little computer trouble earlier, so I helped Solo with this. 3 and 4, right, Solo? 3 and 4, they bring it. It's like his last name in 3, and then his first name in 4 in the new canon. These are just kind of some of the variants for those to look out for if you're out there. Obviously, here I pulled this one, which was kind of one of the more popular ones where they had the design for him there. But this is the 1 in 50 he was talking about.
I've never seen that variant.
Which one? This one? Design?
I've never seen that design variant ever.
They gave him a cool jacket too.
Yeah, he has a cool jacket there. And then this one was popular. We kind of did this. This is kind of a goof, but like he is in the reflection. We were joking about this earlier. I remember like at first I wasn't going to, because the Star Wars thing hadn't hit off like it is now then. And I was like looking at it, and they wanted, I think it was $20 or $25 for this, and it's a 1 in 50. And I was like, yeah. And then I said, you know what? Those goofball Boba Fett crazers, they're gonna want this one day. And so I picked it up, and the guys upstairs were like, "Yeah, dude, good score on that." So, but this is probably one of his books from Bounty Hunter 1, the second series, and this thing is probably 200. It's like 180, 200 regularly out of this book. Which, when you think his first appearance, his first appearance only deems $20. Yeah. You can get his first appearance for $20, but you can't. This variant is crazy.
Hey,
crazy
you know, I just thought
that
of
is the dent. Yes,
as Solo was telling us or talking. I wonder if the movie Solo: A Star Wars Story, I wonder if it had been more well received and we were going to get a sequel. I wonder if we would have already seen Valance by now.
This is a point about Solo brought it up too about Sing, and this is what I'm going to say about Sing. When you look into that character, even though we kind of saw her before, so we won't touch on her and we won't do a profile on her, maybe later after we go through all the scoundrels and everything too. But when Beckett says he threw her off, there hasn't been any proof or any line that he's.
All you have is Beckett's word. Who Beckett
lies about a lot of shit, dude. So I would not be surprised, because remember, she has ties to Boba, which could be interesting if they bring in Valance. There could be a Valance hunting her down at one point. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I wouldn't be mad if that's how he tries to get at Boba. Because right now, those two, like, I'm glad they did that little target Vader thing so they could end that story real quickly to get in, like, maybe all these bounty hunters don't get along. And obviously Valance doesn't get, I mean, we just saw the preview where he blew off Bosk's legs and put him out there. Or no, that's Bubba that did that. But like Bubba, you could, but Bosk and Valance got in fights too. And Bosk took a chunk off of him also. Like it's kind of cool how they're doing all this. So I really
Valance went against the guild. And Bosk for that.
And Bosk, yeah, he went. Well, yeah, because of the what's his name? Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's a ton of info on Valance because he's been around for so long and he's such a background character. Unfortunately, I think he's a top tier character, or should be, but for some reason he's just really in the background. And I left some gaps in there for people to go find out more information, or we'd be here for an hour, because it got real in-depth and thick. So the storyline is, and I didn't do Legend. All I did was canon.
Yeah. Well, I think this is part of it. While we were talking about the Magnus stuff, about the Legend stuff, I think this is kind of cool too. Like, if you read the Legend stuff on him, piece by piece gets replaced. It takes forever. I think it covers, like, he's in 15 different books or something like that. Yeah. They cleaned that down to like 5 or 6, which was very nice. I liked how they did that with the Target Vader thing. And now they opened it up for the other fighting stuff. He's another one. These two are actually strong possibilities, because they are, when you think of arch nemesis for Boba Fett, I mean, Jabba's gone. You have these two. I mean, who else do you have? I mean, like, really stand up against them, because these are two guys that stand up against them.
VK's got a question in the chat that Dom might know. I don't know. Is there a Valance pop? Nope. No pop.
No, not yet. I'm actually hoping to make one. It'd be awesome if they did.
Be sweet.
Yeah.
Nothing
yet.
That's
what I mean. Like, go for it,
Dr. Aphra. They made Dr. Aphra. I'm sorry. They made a Dr. Aphra Black series. So if they made it could be coming soon. The more... Look, I can honestly say this. They're coming out with 2 comic pops. They're coming out with a comic book with the pop, Boba Fett from the Boba Fett comic. They're coming out with a pop made like that, and then Luke from issue 1 of the new series. They're doing pops like that with the comic in the background. It could pop. Maybe they'll do a Valance.
Like they used to do comic. That's cool.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's such a kind of prevalent character. But I mean, they don't have a Black series for him. You got a Black series for Jackson the Rabbit, but you don't have there's no pops for him. He's got 2 of his own series of books, in Bounty Hunter, the new.
But I think they're holding off, and that's why I think it's very convenient that they haven't made one yet. Hey, right? Justin, really quickly, if we were talking Obi-Wan show, which we go back and watch some of our episodes on that, we pretty much think that Black K is going to, I mean, right? There's a lot of linking that shows, like, when everybody else is guessing at who's going to be what and where's going to be who and how's going to be whatever,
Yep.
Black K sure does seem, and I saw Dom put that there's new casting out there where people are trying to fantasy cast who people are and stuff like that, which is interesting.
Well, I can honestly say
But-
that they say that Wookiees are going to be in Mando 3, and in the book of Boba Fett, they had a promotional sticker that was given to the cast and crew, and it showed Boba Fett shooting a Wookiee. So
That's
it
just
could
wrong.
be Black K. I know it's just
It
is
could
wrong.
be.
It is.
I mean, are you going to drop Black K though into like the Book of Fett? Like, I think Black K, they need to use it to introduce.
He
Afro,
fits
right?
better in
He
Obi-Wan.
fits so well. Well, there's a
Yeah.
comic book where he's in that
Yeah.
timeline. I mean, we've said it 100 times. You can go back and watch it. It's I think our show is
And he'd be a good
For a
segue
year
to, like
now,
you said,
so
Afra and other characters if they're going to include them.
and it like he fought with Obi-Wan in the desert around that time. My question is, if you have him dying at or getting shot in the Book of Fett, would you go back then and then have him in Obi and then have, or would you introduce after? Like he has to be the fill-in. Go back and watch the episode. Maybe we'll link it below. Or maybe we'll talk about it again, I guess, because a lot of people, I mean, we are getting a lot more new viewers. We appreciate all of you. Please put the thumbs up down there if you could, if you liked it. We appreciate that. Leave a comment if what other stuff you want us to do. Also, next week, real quickly, before we get to Bad Batch, Steve Horton, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Bargain Comics, and now a whatever. Go check him out on Whatnot too, because he's giving away books for real cheap.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. He's coming on here because if you remember, we gave away some of those mini comics. Remember, we bought a whole box. Actually, I think I got a box of them. Those little mini Star Wars comics that came in this box, and I probably should send this box out to Stick Boy before I damage it completely. But he actually got one graded from CGC. So next week, hopefully, we will have him on to show us what the grade happened with that. That's that Boba Fett 1 to 42. So
nice.
hopefully we'll have him on for that. Okay. Next week we'll have 2 more potential bounty hunters to show up in the Book of Fett. But before we do that, let's get into Bad Batch, and then we've got It's a Trap still left. How many? We're almost in 2 hours. Okay, we're going to finish up Bad Batch real quickly then. All right, so we get this jerk. He took over. I don't think anybody likes him, but they're doing a good job with him. Like, nobody buys this, right? Nobody buys that they betrayed him. Nobody likes, he's like the beloved senator. Nobody likes the senator. I do like how he tried to play up to Hera's mom. And like Hera's mom is the one who controls it all. Everybody thinks it's what's his name, the dad, but no, she's actually the one in charge because she's the one that tells him what to do. So she tells him, we've seen how you treat your friends. Also, at that point, they leak out that, as we said last week, the senator's not dead. He was just injured. I know you guys all had questions. I don't know we just knew that he was still in canon.
You still don't see him, which is weird. Like this. He's like, oh, it's still attempted murder, but you never see the guy.
Yeah, I mean, it is still attempted. Yeah, I mean, it's still, you do. Well, we might see him without one. I mean, I think they're going to do a third part, right? They have to do more. They can't leave us here. Maybe season 2, we're going to see more of them, but they can't leave us here. So then you get the Gronk fixing and it's a defect just like us, which, she's supposed to be able to fix everything. I don't know. She gets the call from Hera, which is cool. We thought it was going to be 2 parts. It is. Like I said, I think we're going to get a 3rd or 4th part. Maybe, hopefully we get 4. Tells the message. By the way, she calls out Hunter again.
So that was total you're my only hope scene right there. I don't know if anybody caught that.
Yeah.
It was. And Hunter, VK came on just in time because I know he loves this stuff. By the way, 5 more slides this week, VK, just for you. I had 5 more slides. So Hunter gets in there and gives her the we can't save everybody thing, but of course she gets her way. Also, too, as much as he's supposed to be the father figure, she kind of calls him the older brother, right? Like, because she says they're all my brothers at one point, which was pretty cool. But also means Crosshair's her brother, too. This, the worst. Look, there's no rocks in front of him. There's no really disguising. So when the probe droid's like, we got him. We got him. Yeah, really? A probe droid found you? I did think it was cool how Hunter, like, heard the probe droid, went up and stabbed him, but a little bit too late.
Doesn't he have, like... Now, if I remember right, he's like one of his abilities or whatever is to sense like electromagnetic waves or something. Wasn't that like a deal for Hunter?
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know.
Somebody had a question about how everybody's got big binoculars. I think they're in the packs, right? I don't know.
Must be
Because
standard issue, I guess.
Hera's got some. Omega's got some.
Yeah.
Like, they ain't got no big packs, man. They're just
No. But look, you know, Heck's not holding his, and neither
They're
is
like-
Wrecker. So maybe they passed them down.
they're
I don't know
doing
why
like
they even
some
gave Hera.
They're like $5 at the
Davis
corner
Lane.
store.
They're picking them up everywhere. They're just laying. They're like laying on top of that cliff with no protection. By the way, why'd you need a probe droid to see them? Like you could have just looked up and saw them. They're just
They're
sitting
like
there.
they're like Marvel variants at Five Below. You just go and pick them up.
Yeah. Anyway, so they get back. They start to have the plan. Hera starts to say, "I'm gonna fly." Well, they get the buddy cop thing is getting pretty cool between these two, right? Everybody wants to see more of these two and their little budding relationship. I thought it was pretty cool. It was fun. They're doing a really good job with it. Then they do their plan where they're going off, and who do they see? Well, Crosshair. Oh, well, Crosshair actually had the thing. The probe droid went to Crosshair. I must have mixed these slides up. That's what happens when you add 5 extra for VK. Crosshairs also goes when they're giving this guy the lecture. He wanted to go and hunt down Hera, but they said no. Crosshair will take care of it. Don't worry about it. And then he brings it up later, like, oh, he hasn't got it done yet. I could go to somebody else. So I thought they were going to send Hauser out there. That's not what happened. Hauser then gets the lecture from the Subduals about like, hey, dude, you're supposed to help us out, bro. Like, what happened to you, man?
Be a pal, guy.
Yeah, what are you doing, guy? Come on, bro. And he thought he was going to break him out, but he didn't break him out. But you could see that was kind of getting to him. What?
Didn't you think it was kind of weird? Because he was showing some empathy and a bunch of other stuff that tells me maybe his chip ain't quite all engaged.
Yeah, I've got questions on how those chips work.
Okay, so
Weird.
yeah,
Hey, we're gonna see
Justin,
a-
that's hilarious. The 80 cell phone.
We're going to
of
see
Star
an
Wars.
awful lot of defective chips here in a minute.
No, but that's what I'm not. But okay, so we're gonna get to that scene in a little bit, and I'm gonna try to explain it. So eventually, he does. After the Bad Batch breaks him out, he does come through and say, "Hey, look, they're waiting for you out front. I'm gonna go stall them. Go out the back door. Take the Senator's ship out there." He goes out, gives a speech about how like they were here to protect them. That's not what they're supposed to be doing. Who's with me? I thought they were gonna shoot him on the spot.
I thought
Instead,
so too.
Instead, about half the guys start dropping their stuff after he dropped his gun.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to say about this. Order 66 was an implant in the implant in there wasn't good soldiers follow orders. That was part of Order 66, right? Mm-hmm. So like Order 66 was to kill the Jedi. And I think what they're doing here is coming up to the loss because we know they're going to wipe out all the clones. Mm-hmm. We know that it's going to be something like Legacy. And when they don't have them completely programmed in, and they see these ones turning, I think it's giving them the excuse where they can wipe them out. And they're not really turning. They realize like, oh crap, you're right. We're supposed to be doing this. This is what
we've already seen. Like there's kind of different, even in the Bad Batch, there's different levels of programming. Like Crosshair was the only one compelled to obey the good soldiers follow orders, Order 66 thing, and the other really weren't at all.
Wrecker kind of was too after a while. But
yeah, but I mean that's my point. Like there's kind of these different levels of how effective it is.
I was thinking kind of along the same line. I mean, I brought it up just so we could start dialogue, but I was kind of thinking the same thing as Marco.
I think so.
That this is kind of leading to they're seeing loyalty.
BK said too. Yeah,
they're seeing loyalty in the troopers to their military comrades instead of to the Empire. And so that's going to lead to the total conversion to non-troopers.
Yeah, I think their chips are still there and they work, but I think you're going to see the rebellion on Kaminoan, and like from the old days. And then maybe they will put a little bit of Hera in there. I don't know about all that, but like I think we're going to see that probably towards the end of Bad Batch, and that might be the end of Bad Batch, if you know what I mean.
These guys are pretty old, so they have like the Intel i5 chips in, and now we're up to what, the i7, the i9. So
the batteries are dying.
The newer chips are definitely a lot better and on the point.
There might be something to that because think of fives.
Yeah,
the way it worked for fives. So.
You might. Well, also too, you got to think with Crosshair's programming, they are doing something to him, right? Like they're adding it up or amping it up or whatever else. Where they can't do that to every single one of them. And updates. You have a new update. You have a new download.
Did you see? Did you see the Crosshair thing? He kept looking at Hauser like he's starting to like his
Click.
his chip might start to like a malfunction now. That he's
I'm not
kind
buying
of-
that.
You know,
Well, this is what I was going to. So here's the next one. You know, he's got the like whatever they did with the healing. He's also on the chip side got a little bit of damage that they couldn't repair, a little burnt out damage.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they're going to placate that a little bit to like maybe it fried his like Dom said, maybe it fried.
Well, he missed. He took a couple of shots at the ship as it left, and he missed. So was that due to?
He missed Kanan too.
Was it, so was he did that on purpose, or was that just kind of a malfunction? I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, that yeah. I mean, this is what's great about it, right? It has us bunch talking about what could possibly happen, and maybe explaining a little bit more about the chips, which I think is really cool. So they did, instead of shooting him in the head, they actually took him. This is the more telling thing. Okay, what did he do the last time a clone decided to go against?
That wasn't even a clone.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was his own man.
That was his own man.
Clone, yeah.
All right, there you go.
Rifled
Yeah.
him.
So, anyways, yeah, he killed him, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now all of a sudden he's taking prisoners.
Yeah.
He's taking prisoners. I don't know, man. I don't know. So maybe there it is. I think Dom's right. I think everybody else is right. Maybe there's something in there because he sure did take a lot of prisoners this episode.
Don't forget, though, he really didn't like that guy in his squad very much because he kept trying to take his position and everything. So he probably had a little reason to kill him. But
Dom, that's good. Or not Dom. VK, I'm sorry, is saying that there's other people saying, too, that it's a radiation energy damage. The burning could have damaged the chip. Anything, him get falling could have damaged it. Or, come on, they know that the Empire's getting rid of them. They could be not programming the right kill codes up in the upgrade. Every once in a while, those patches they send back to fix the problem that the last patch did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It creates some more problems when you upgrade your phone that fix the bugs from the last upgrade.
Right. So then we get the buys and goodbyes, and we'll see you around. I mean, they're pretty much setting this up for them to see each other again. I think we all believe that, correct?
mm-hmm.
And then the champ thing. But look who's still alive. I thought a lot of us thought that she was going to die. I thought a lot of us thought Hera's mom was going to die, and that was going to cause the spring. So hopefully, I'm crossing my finger. And even if they don't do it this season, I hope that next season we get to see what happens to the mom. And I think that's going to placate into. We'll give grades, but I think that's going to placate into it's a trap after this. So stick around for its
quick question.
You can ask as many as you like.
It doesn't bug me, but I'm just curious every time I watch an episode with a Twi'lek, why are the women's ears like these little dome things, but the men have regular ears? Isn't it? I mean, is that like part of their that's not part of their headdress or whatever, is it? That's their actual ears?
Yeah, that's their ears. Star Wars alien species, bro.
Star Wars. All right, got it.
Star Wars. Alien species, bro.
Star Wars.
All right.
Lucas.
Well, think about it. How come the Twilight Men have huge
What's that?
Nope, he froze.
lumps in their heads?
Who has lumps in their heads?
The brother,
We missed
he had the big
Oh,
bumps.
the foreheads.
Yeah,
They do have bigger
Yeah,
lumps
the
on
men
their head.
Twi'leks.
yeah,
the
you're right.
foreheads.
I guess it's how they tell each other which one's the male, which one's the female. I mean, there's different ways to tell stuff for different people.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dom, since you are our guest and part of the family, but still a guest, let's see what we got for you on a grade for this episode. Out of the 5 helmets. And froze. And 1, 2, okay. All right, Solo Wookiee.
Got him.
Huh?
Carbonite got him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a 4. I like it. I think it's
3
definitely
helmets.
Oh, wait, there he goes. He's back.
There he
3
goes.
helmets. 3 helmets. Dom, what else you got? You froze
There.
for a minute. What else you got?
Yeah, 3 helmets. And, the only reason why I say that is that there was just too much drama. Like I said, Crosshairs keeps looking at Hauser. Hauser's looking back this way. Just get to the thing. Get to the action part. Like, we all know it's coming. But this episode felt like they wanted Hera. They wanted to get this episode out. I didn't feel that it really was a huge, like the first episode when Hera came, that was great. The second one kind of fell a little short. Like Hera's mom, you thought something might have happened to her or something else big would have happened in this episode to leave it on a cliffhanger. to go into the next episode. But I could be wrong. I just felt it wasn't up to par of what the first episode was of the 2-part arc.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I had to go 4. I think it's great for it build that storyline. We're gonna see more Omega. And Hera. We're gonna see, her mom get whacked at some point. She's gonna sleep with the fishes.
Sopranos.
Whether it be before it be next season or the tail end of this season, maybe. They're definitely alluding that we're gonna see more of it. Was it the greatest, best episode? No, it wasn't, but I really enjoyed it. It was fun. Despite the David Blaine Scooby-Doo disappearing binocular stuff and all of that. It was a very just fun episode. And so yeah, I had to give it a 4. JJ?
I'll go next. So you ever watch one of the so the Olympics are coming up, and every time I watch international sports, I always watch the soccer games. You ever watch a soccer game and nothing happens and the score is 0-0 at the end and it goes and goes? That was this episode for me. Nothing of consequence really happened except for Hauser got arrested, and we got they broke her parents out of jail, which I assume they're going to, and like everybody else, we'll talk about it more on It's a Trap here in a minute, but I thought something was going to happen to Hera's mom, which never happened. I thought maybe something might happen with Crosshair's story that never happened. Mm-hmm. So I give it a 2.5 just because I feel it didn't move the story along hardly at all. And I'm with Dom. I felt like the first trip into Rebels land, Hera or whatever, was way more impactful and important than the second part was. So
Jedi.
Okay. So I am going to give it a 3. I think I gave last week's a 3.5 because we got to see Hera. Thinking along the same lines as I think everyone else, this was just a continuation of last week. Just kind of okay, we kind of knew this was going to happen. Nothing surprising. So yeah, 3. And just for the portion of the audience that still cares what my wife thinks about it, the most interesting thing she had out of this was she thinks that Chopper makes a lot of noise, and if he would just be quiet, the plans would work better.
He's on to something.
Chopper needs just to shut up and do his job and stop talking to himself.
Chopper is the biggest jerk in the Star Wars universe.
Who was the personal chat goes?
Yeah.
You know who voices Chopper? Dave Filoni.
Yep.
Who was it in personal chat that said, "Do you know how many?"
That was me.
Chopper killed.
Yeah, Chopper's kill count in the Star Wars universe is 50,000 people. He's crashed Star Destroyers into each other and killed thousands of people at a time. He tried to kill Ezra on 5 occasions.
Oh yeah. Zeb too a couple times. He got Zeb pretty good.
Kanan, he pushed Kanan down the big hill thing.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting. Jamie Lynn said something to the effect that Hera could be. I think we've covered that before. She could be part of Rogue Squadron. I feel that's a strong possibility too, just with how much she's been linked up. And even if not, eventually maybe they'll get into her son. You know what I mean? Because it's got to be one of them. There's going to be either Kanan Hera baby coming out of here one day. What was his name? Was it Kate?
Spectre 7. Spectre 7.
Wasn't it?
Spectre 7.
Spectre 7. Station. Yeah.
Casey.
Jason, Jason Syndulla. Jason, but the old Skywalker guy. Yeah, whatever.
Solo.
Solo. Solo. Skywalker Solo. Whatever. Legacy, you know what I'm talking about. Well, we know what we're talking about. I don't know. Do we know what we're talking about? Long day.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so yeah, so it's gonna be one of the two. So that's pretty cool. Dang, you guys killed this thing, huh? I mean,
I loved it, man.
Yeah,
I gave it a 4, man.
2.5's average.
I gave it 3.5, man. I actually liked it. I liked a lot. Because they didn't do the chief thing. They just didn't have Holitzer open the gate and let him go out. That they actually made the Bad Batch go in there. The relationship building between it, and that we're gonna get more. I know I was kind of disappointed too. We don't find out what, but you know what makes Christmas great? The best Christmases are the ones that you didn't go into your parents' closet and find out what you're getting the next day. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like this. we thought what we were going to get, we didn't get it, but that's okay because we didn't peek in the closet, so we don't really know what's going to happen in the next one. And that's kind of how I see it too. I thought they did an excellent job. I thought they have us question, like anytime we get to talk and like serious questions, we were like, oh, we're going to placate a little bit up. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. Wink, wink, nod, nod. But we really don't know what's going on with Crosshair. I think we have a lot of theories of what's going on with Crosshair, but I don't think we know what's going on with Crosshair.
I'm in the camp. I don't think he's going to have a great redemption arc, or it's going to be very short.
Yeah, maybe a short one.
Redemption and
done. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like to still have this at this point, like Loki's long gone. That's 6 weeks. Like we're in week like number 8. Are we in week 8 at this? 8 or 9? We're in something.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like this is.
I got a question. I don't have any. I don't have daughters. I don't know if anyone.
I do.
Have you ever gotten that look that Omega gives Hunter? That was like my favorite part of the show. Was that look she gave him? I was like, oh.
Oh yeah. When they think they're smarter than you. Yeah, that one. Yeah. No. Yeah. You get it a bunch. I got one of those kids that thinks she's smart. She ain't that smart. And then I just tell her to go get a job and then tell me about it later. She says, I'm not old enough to get a job yet. And I said, well, you are in some countries.
There's a reason for that.
But yeah, no, that's definitely a thing. I think that's why I take to that character. I've got a spunky little daughter, and that character is dead on, man. That is made for. I don't actually want her watching it because I don't want her acting like that.
Minus the accent.
Sometimes.
It comes and goes like Hera's accent does.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's a weirdo though because she's a twin. So like, nah, I didn't say that. I love her. They're not weird. They're just twins. So,
well, and just so you know, I mean, Christmas for me, I didn't have to worry about it because I could always feel their presence.
Oh,
he's sneaking them in there.
Oh, God, that's ridiculous. VK, the problem with Crosshair isn't, if you're saying Scar as far as like the squadron eventually being a bunch of Imperial troopers, yeah, I think we all think that's kind of where it's going. I think we've talked about that before. If you're saying Crosshair is going to be part of Scar, he can't be part of Scar because, well, he could be part of the one that died already, I guess, but he would have to have been the leader. Mm-hmm. And the other people that are in there aren't the people that are in Scar Squadron that we're talking about it afterwards. It's
that we know of. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, that we actually do. Well, we actually do know that. We know that when they're referring to it, when what's his name took over, that those weren't the original. That those members, 2 of those members were original, and they're not members that are on the TV show right now. But whatever, they can retcon. If they retcon, well, go ahead, Dom.
No, definitely. I can honestly say one thing. Like this episode, I'll give one thing to this episode. You can see where the whole thing is going, where the clones are going to start being wiped out because they're too loyal. They only had one job to kill the Jedi. After killing the Jedi, they had no other direction but to try to be loyal to the people who actually they helped. And now that Rampar's been telling that to Tarkin's going to start seeing that, and that's why we're going to probably get the uprising in Camino.
Which is what I want. Yeah.
Maybe the next 4 episodes. The next 4 episodes might be epic.
You think? You don't think that's going to be the grand end? The grand end is going to be the rising, and that's where we're going to see Scar finally come in, because Scar would have to come in and fight off the uprising of the clones.
Now, actually, I think what's going to happen, I think season 2 is going to take place. It's going to time jump. It's going to be 5 or 10 years in the future, because this is taking place in the beginning of Order 66. Now, if you notice, all the shows are taking place 10 years before New Hope. You're going to have to time jump to try to get more story going, moving forward.
I want to hear what he was going to say. I actually don't think it's going to go that far forward. I think it's going to be a continuation. They're going to finish a couple things off, and it's going to climax just like Clone Wars did with the Siege of Mandalore. I think they're going to do the same thing on the Komoan planet, and that's going to be it. And that's where we're going to see the new Star Squad. You good? You back? What? We missed the last little bit. Yeah, go. Yeah, we missed.
I was saying that it should be a time jump, like 5 or 10 years. More likely 5 years, because to move the narrative along, because it's going to take a long time to build up. The Camino thing is going to happen sooner than later, and then next season, time jump. So you can have more narrative closer to the Rogue Ones, closer to the Rebels.
I question a little bit how much they'll tie everything together because
Yeah.
I mean you got a lot of like okay, Hera and Bad Batch in this, like we weirdly get no mention in Rebels at all when we get to know Hera for 4 seasons that she for a day or two led an elite squad of clones to rescue her parents. Like, you know, you're gonna have to go back and there's a lot there to tie.
You have New Dawn. You have to stop. This has to stop before New Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It has to stop before the novel of New Dawn.
Well, at least with Hera, yeah.
Yeah, with Hera, you can't have that. So Scar actually stood for something in Scar Squadron. Do you remember what it was, JJ?
Special
recon.
Yeah, it was. I can remember.
Well, like, hey, who cares? VK, good for you. Let's go. Let's do it because he's got a scar on the side of the face. Could be the same thing. I'm whatever. I mean, I just think I want like I said, I think you missed it here, Dom. But what I said is like, you know, they ended Clone Wars. Like when they finally ended it, they ended it with the Siege of Mandalore. I think that big finale is kind of what they're going to want to do with this too. And if that's the case, then that gives a perfect example. But who knows? I mean, I just hope that it is that way. But that's like, you know, Christmas gift too. So, all right. For last but not least, we got all the grades. Let's go into 2 hours, guys. See, this is what happens when we keep pushing stuff off. It goes longer and longer. Then we get Dom on here. This is why we can't have Dom on every week, because if Dom was on here every week, we'd be going to 4 hours, guys. I'm telling you. Let's do the last
content, man.
So is that
content?
It is.
A lot of good content.
It's a good thing. It's good. I hear people are saying that there's nothing this week in Star Wars, and I'm like, well, somebody should tell us that, because each week keeps getting longer and longer, man. It just keeps getting longer and longer. And we're pushing that off to next week. Next week.
Yep.
JJ's slide was a push off for a month, by the way. Our Jedi slide was a push off for a month. All right, so here we go. Here's the question. Let's present it.
Yep. So what does happen to Hera's mom? Is the question. So we're gonna blow through this one quick because we kind of already talked about it a little bit. But so Eleni Syndulla was her mom. The first thing we kind of got was, well, I shouldn't say first thing, but one of the storylines that we kind of got of what happened to her was in the Women of the Galaxy reference book. They said that she died during the Separatist invasion. They later went back and changed that and said, well, that was a misprint. We didn't mean that. We know from Rebels, and kind of the backstory that Hera gives us there is that, you know, she does die at some point between the Rescue on Ryloth episode we just watched and the beginning of Rebels, and more actually probably closer to A New Dawn if you read that novel.
Really?
Yeah. And then you have in the episode Heroes Heroes, that's when they definitely say she died during the Imperial invasion of Ryloth. So next slide for me. Basically, you know, we know about her relationship with the father was kind of rocky after her mother died. She was very close to her mother. She even, I'm going to probably mispronounce what it's called, the Kalakori. Is that what it was?
Good luck.
How's that how you pronounce it? I don't know. It was the family heirloom thing of the Twi'leks.
The wood thing,
that belonged to her mom. That's what she wanted to rescue from Thrawn. A certain blind, plucky Jedi named Kanan does eventually recover it and give it back to her. And it's kind of cool because at the end, he gets to be an honorary Syndulla because she adds him onto the thing. But, you know, the thing that drives it to me was like her death. Eleni's death was kind of the catalyst or the thing that made Sham so hardcore protector of Ryloth and made Hera, you know, such into the rebellion that she was. But we don't see any of that in what's the invasion of Ryloth, which is what we see in Rescue on Ryloth. So the ultimate question that we come down to for our last slide here is, does she ever actually die? Does she live on? Is this technically a retcon? So never
maybe they got divorced.
Yeah, I mean, never tell me the odds is, you know, maybe they stay together, maybe they got a divorce, maybe they got separated somehow, but maybe Hera's mom actually doesn't die, and maybe General Hera Syndulla still has a mother. It's a trap would be obviously, well, no, she still dies. We just don't see it, but we're going to see it at some point. So.
Who wants to go first?
I can go first if you want.
I'll go.
Oh, go ahead, Jedi.
Go ahead, Jedi. Yeah, let's hear Jedi.
I'm going to say I really wish I could remember, and I didn't go back and revisit this, but I really wish I could remember the parts of Lord of the Sith where Sham talks about his family. And I know Hera, I believe, almost positive, is mentioned in Lord of the Sith through dialogue or thoughts of Sham talking about he hopes she's okay or whatever. But I don't remember if he said who she's with or what she's doing, whether or not she's with her mother or not. I don't remember. So I throw all that out, even though it doesn't lead me to any sort of answer because I don't remember. So I'm going to say I think she's dead. I think she's going to die. And I think, like you were alluding to, or like you said, it's going to be the reason for Sham's dedication to the rebellion and the freedom of Ryloth, and Hera's involvement with the rebellion. I think her death is going to be the main contributor to that. What I wonder, and I don't know if I heard Marco say it or somebody else, is does her death create a rift between Sham and Hera? That I know I heard somebody mention that. I don't remember who it was or what the context was. So I'm going to say she's dead, and then I'll leave it to you guys to kind of fill in some of the stuff I couldn't.
Okay.
Next to that.
Yeah. JJ. Yeah, it sounds good.
I mean,
no, good. It did cause a rift. Yes, I think both me and JJ. Yeah, that's what the story is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that we know at least. But yeah, this is one of those where like I'm kind of on both sides of the fence. Like in my heart, I would like for it to be a retcon, and I would like for Hera's mom to live because I kind of like that character, and I think she has a big influence on Hera, and we never hear about it. But at the same time, logically, I think because it's that catalyst that drives Hera to the rebellion and drives Sham to be the guy he is, I think that at some point some tragedy is going to have to happen where she dies. I think we just haven't seen it yet. I think that these 2 episodes probably would have been a good time to do that because it is the invasion of Ryloth, theoretically, from the Empire. So that would have been perfect timing. And there was like 3 times where I thought she was going to die, especially the first part, like at the end when they, attacked the convoy or whatever. But I don't know. I think we're still going to see it down the line. I actually kind of prefer not to, but I think we will.
Anybody else?
I think we're definitely going to see her die. And it's definitely going to be a big to-doings. It's going to happen. They're leading up to it. It's coming. Absolutely coming. Because, in Rebels, it's all there. They lined it all out. It's all, the end storyline we have. Now they're just filling in the gap.
Dom?
Yeah, I think it's a trap. I think we're going to see it. I think we're not going to see it personally. I think the next time we see her mom is already going to be dead, and her father's going to already do his own thing. I think maybe the second season of Bad Batch, you'll see Hera again, and she'll mention that her mom was killed. Because now, think about it, there won't be any many clones. There'll be regular humans taking over as the troopers. So that's why I'm saying it's going to be a time jump next year, and we'll see. It's going to happen off screen.
Okay,
that's kind of the question. That's a little bit of the thought I had too. Is like, do you think it was too dark to put in these 2 episodes that they didn't want to do it because it's kind of a kid show and it's that Bambi moment? Is it a little too dark to kill her mom?
They killed Bambi's mom.
They've done things before. They've done things before. Like you're shocked. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did it, but I think they
just shot somebody in the head.
But he lived. They shot him in the head, but he
shot
lived.
the head, but he lived. Yeah, all right.
So
I think they're gonna. I don't know. I don't only think that they're gonna that she's dead. I think they're gonna show us how she dies, and I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna come down to a choice between Sham with freeing Ryloth or saving the mom. I think that's what's going to happen, and I think he's going to choose to try to save the planet and the people, and that's where Hera gets messed up. And it's very interesting, that Thrawn has the little wood sculpture there, isn't it? I mean, I'm not saying, listen, Chad. I'm not saying Thrawn's going to show up and he's the one that maybe kidnapped her mom. And then all of a sudden we had Tarkin going there and there's a little execution going on or something to that effect, or Crosshair ended up doing it and he doesn't get his redemption story because there's a war going on Kamino. Well, no, I'm just saying.
Thrawn got it because he lived in their house, right? he occupied their house. That's how he got it in the first place, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe. But you can always. I mean, like
Yeah,
you
can
could have
rewrite
a prisoner.
Like when
in the
he
house.
invades, that's when she
Yeah.
dies. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like when he invades, that's why she dies. You know what I mean? Like they could have had a prisoner, and he invades, and he's like, well, why would you kill her? Whatever. You know how Thrawn is. Why did you kill her? He didn't actually kill her. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I am 100% not saying Thrawn killed her, but I wouldn't be surprised if something to that effect. You know, they're having the war up there, and all of a sudden she wants Sham to go up and help, you know, the clone troopers. Next thing you know, he doesn't help the Bad Batch or anything. He ends up going and trying to storm the castle. She ends up dying because of that, because there's already something going on with Rampart and her, right? Like the whole, I don't trust you, that moment where I see how you deal with friends. If that's not some foreshadowing, I mean.
So you don't think Crosshair kills her?
No, I don't think Crosshair kills her.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, maybe, but no, I think Rampart's going to have something to do with it. Rampart's going to have something. I think that was a lot of foreshadowing where she said, I know how you treat friends. I saw how you deal with that. And when he's like, he's not dead, I think the next case is she's going to be dead. I think they're going to probably try to take her and use her as a trap. And it doesn't work because the dad is going to be so focused this time on freeing the people. And there she goes. So that's what I think. That's all I got. BK, thank you. James, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate the comment here from our friend Geek. Wait a minute. Is that a Trekkie in the picture? I might not appreciate it so much. All right.
No.
Anyways, guys, everybody watching on Renovision, make sure you're over there giving a thumbs up. Do know that it is Pete wants me to relay. Thank you, everybody over there. We're up to 800 subs on Renovision.
Nice. Yep.
800. So that means Pete's got another giveaway. 200 more. And he's going to give us away at 900. He's going to give away at 1,000 too. So make sure you're subbing all your friends, all your family. Make sure you're passing along. There's a lot of great content going on.
I expect Ruben to win whatever giveaway.
I know. Dude, Ruben on IG. Ruben on IG was like, hey, Renovision, watch their stuff. By the way,
just give it to Ruben now.
Yeah. So Ruben wins a lot. So I think he's excited because I think he's waiting for 900. I hear 1,000 is going to be a big thing. Make sure you're checking out the Wednesday show on Renovision. Me and Pete are doing some. I don't know. You guys said the show that last week was pretty good. I have it linked below, so I hope you. James, thank you. Thank you for the donation. We really do appreciate it. Thanks for $5 in super chat. We really do appreciate it.
I definitely enjoy the content you guys are doing. So
good. Thank you. And then hey, here on Tales on the main channel, Tales from the Flipside. You know, there's something new every day. MCM just had a banger of a show last night. Make sure you guys check that out. Mondays going wild. I know a lot of the guys are going to go cons and stuff showing up, so make sure you check out them and their schedules. Everybody that's going out there, make sure you're checking in with the comic book women. You know, our friend Jen's been really busy lately, but that doesn't mean you can't go over there and say hi to her and the rest of the girls over there. So do that for us. Anything else we got exciting coming up? Nope. Okay. Next week we're going to do something. We'll have 2 more bounty hunters. James, thank you again. Darth Lopez, we appreciate it again. Where's I know this is all a setup from Ish. Ish. Get out of here with that nonsense. All right, with that, we are going to leave you guys. VK, thanks again. We are going to leave. I got to figure out how do we get out of this thing again? Oh.